You may not believe it.
All right, everyone, it is Tuesday night. So I want to welcome each and every one of you here to Forbidden Knowledge TV. And as you know, we talk about some things here that, really could change some people's lives, but also alert the people that are not getting their life changed how to do it. And who's better to do it with my boy, Doc B. Sirius here in the house tonight. And man, we're going to rock him tonight because we really don't have no time limit except for our time. But we're going to cover some stuff, and I may shock everyone later on in the show as we get into it, and maybe open up our call-in line and let some people in. So we'll talk just a little bit, give some people time to get in here because I didn't do a 3-minute countdown so that it will send alerts out. But people are starting to get the alerts right as we speak that you and I are live. But let's just have a little small talk real quick. What's been going on with you, my brother?
Man, it's been amazing. It's been like a roller coaster ride, man, like a UFO ride. It's been a spaceship ride, man. It's
if it's been a lot going on, then that's fast. That's fast. That's quick. That's like, spaceships be moving really quick. Yeah. So we will get into that pretty much. But anything in particular that you've been working on for the future that we need to know about?
Well, I've been working on the God Power 2 event, blueprint for God Power 2. And it is really challenging me to actually put together something that is just exhilarating for the people. The thing is that, this is not going to be just one of those things where we're just talking. We're giving out actual techniques. You're going to actually get the blueprints and the pieces and the steps for people to tap into their original selves. This is all stuff that's packed into our DNA. We're going through a mutation right now. And that mutation is going to tap us all into the original people who we were before or who we're becoming. And that's when we get to, shift and begin to really create and co-create on another level. So the blueprint for God Power 2, we're really excited. It is this, October 29th, which is this Sunday.
Yep.
And it's going to be, we even had to extend the time. It was from 11. But now it's going to be from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the evening, all day with Billy Carson and myself. We're going to be sharing the knowledge, the keys, the golden nuggets to create health, wealth, love, and just to become who we're supposed to be. God power people.
Whew, man, I know that's going to be, it's going to be hot right off the fire. And I know how you roll, Billy rolls. So I know you guys are going to be doing it. And like I said, we'll get the show on the road in just a moment as more people are getting those alerts as they're coming in. But if you're just now listening and you have not gotten your God Power 2 tickets, there is a link in the description of this video right now. You can definitely go get it, hit it up, get that link, get that ticket, post it in the chat later that you just bought your ticket through that link. And we're going to give you a shout out from there. So, because we want to know in real time if you are coming. Man, we got a lot to talk about tonight. And like I said,
let me say something really quickly.
I
just posted a new link because we found that Eventbrite and Apple are having some issue. They're not communicating with each other. So folks who would like to get on and who are having an issue at the Eventbrite link, I just put up the new link that Billy just put up just a few minutes ago. So you can get directly in there because a lot of folks were having bounce backs. They said there was no pay button, because there has been a broken agreement between Apple and Eventbrite. Yeah, this is something we didn't even know about.
Okay, well, we're going to have to, what we'll do then is get it updated pretty much for there. I can, let me see about, hang on, how we could use that in just a little bit here. Okay, I got it copied here, and we'll get it into the chat here in just a second. But yeah, in the meantime, we got enough people here. They're coming in. As the show progresses, we'll get enough people there, and then we'll spit the new link out and get some people. Well, that's business. Those people do a lot of money, and Apple is really proprietary when it comes down to their phones. All right, so let's start just a little bit. You've had some experience, and you and I have talked about it in the past, especially when it comes down to the Bermuda Triangle, which is one of the most coveted things out there. You know that, right? And I know it set a lot of things in motion in your life, especially as we are here today, and some of the things we're going to talk about tonight, as well as people what they're going to learn in God power too, that you're going to really take them on the journey, the craft, right? Let's just say for a minute, for the people who have not heard that story, like I say, we're just waiting for the alerts to get out. We got a few hundred people here, but it'll grow as always. Let's go back for a minute. Take us back to that moment of the Bermuda Triangle experience for those who haven't heard that story.
Well, I'm going to tell you the pieces I can.
All right, that's good.
It was 1996 September. We took our family on a 50th, anniversary. Our parents were having their 50th wedding anniversary, so we went on the Carnival cruise boat, and we went to the Bahamas. And in the middle of the trip, there was a storm coming, so we couldn't go north. So they had to take the boat south. If you look on your if you look on your map, you look south from the Bahamas, you are in the Bermuda Triangle, because the Bermuda Triangle is one of the, or Bahamas is one of the points on the Bermuda Triangle. So we went into the triangle. No, they didn't tell us we were going to the triangle. Of course, they
Okay. All right.
go to bed early. There's a hurricane. We had to leave the island early, and it was the island Nassau actually. And at night, I couldn't sleep, and the boat is shaking. And the only thing on the movie, they had one movie channel back in those days on the cruise boat, and it was the movie Twister playing. I'm like, we're in a hurricane. We're running from a hurricane. They're playing Twister. I mean, what is this? Of course, in the boat. But I ended up through a system of I always get challenged when I tell the story, because something I start having bits the experience come back. But I ended up on the bow of the boat, because that's where I spent most of my time, on the cruise, was on the bow. I went to the bow of the boat, and I noticed that the crew all had their life jackets on, and they had the little blinking light, on the life jacket. And I remember my father, who was in the Navy, said whenever they had that blinking light on the life jacket, they intend to possibly be in the water at any moment. So I knew we were in a state of emergency. And then I looked from the bow of the boat back up into I think they call it the bridge. And I could see the captain and all the crew, or the the main folks up in the what they call it, the crew members, but the bridge members, and they all had this look on their face. And I looked out at the water, and suddenly the water looked like a lake.
Damn.
It was no ripples in the water. It was like a calm lake. This is the ocean. Okay. On the horizon, way back, you could see the storm actually pulling the ocean up to the clouds. I've never seen anything like this. This is when I realized that lightning is not only striking down, it's going up from the clouds into the ionosphere somewhere. Then it comes back down into the ocean. To see that on the ocean is amazing. But what was happening was we were having some energetic shift, and the water became very calm. All of a sudden, there was no wind. Those little birds that used to fly and follow the boat, there was no birds. Then I couldn't hear. There was no sound.
Whoa.
No sound at all. And everything seemed to begin to move almost in slow motion. And I just remember my hair on my arms, because I felt this funny sensation. I look at my arms and I could see my hair like standing up. And then suddenly I'm like, this is the Bermuda Triangle. You know what I'm saying? This is that energy. And I watched all the movies and all that, you know what I'm saying, all my life. But I'm actually here. And boom, it was about maybe 1:20 in the morning. And all of a sudden, it was like the sun was coming up. I had missing time. I had no recollection of what happened. I just know I kept hearing sounds and these musical tones. It was like every note you could hear was happening at one time. And I was very emotional. I was shaking. And I look at my watch. My watch is frozen at the time when I zoned out. It's frozen. I still have that watch to this day. I should have went in the room and got it and brought it here and showed you guys. But my watch is frozen. I'm sweating. I'm nervous. And I'm like, I'm very emotional. And I'm about to lose it because I don't know what happened. And I keep hearing these numbers in my head, numbers and musical notes. And I look up in the sky, and suddenly I notice that the sun is coming up, but at the same time, the moon is coming up, and they're both huge. The sky looked like all the clouds were like rainbows, but like
Mhm.
somebody took their fingers and put them in different colors of paint and smeared them in swirls all over the sky. That's what the sky looked like. The ocean, once again, is still like it's like glass, like a lake. I can't hear anything. I don't feel anything. I don't feel like me. And at that point, I realized that I've had some sort of experience. And that's what changed everything for me because obviously I had been through some sort of wormhole, some sort of time dimensional shift, and my whole life changed. And I actually basically had a breakdown, for like for the next month or so. I was gone. When I went back home, all I kept doing was writing these two number sequences on everything. I was writing these two numbers and two 3-digit numbers, and I couldn't eat anything. You know what I'm saying? I was gone. I was really like I had lost my mind. I knew it. This was it. I couldn't focus on anything. Um, and I just stayed in for about a month. And then what was really interesting was there was a woman who I was coaching at the time who was in the military, and she was involved in a craft recovery program in the military.
Mm.
She Her mother was involved in one like in the 60s or something. They had some special, I don't know, these people had some special bloodline, some special DNA. So they were choosing people in the military to be a part of these programs based on something about them. So this is the daughter now. The daughter, I'm coaching her because she has all of these emotional issues. When she's on every type of psychotropic drug, they've got her drugged up most of the time. And she says, and I remember asking her in her first coaching session, what happened to her? And she told me she worked with the military in this special top secret project. And she said she was okay when they were looking over this wreckage until the little man grabbed her hand.
Mm. Whoa. Okay.
She said when the little man grabbed her hand, it blew her mind. That was it. She zoned out and she was gone from that point on. And I guess what happened was they tried to rewrite your thinking when you get back to the base. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen, and they're drugging you. You know what I'm saying? Because she zoned out. She snapped. She couldn't take it. It was too much. And whatever the little man touched her and gave her this information, she at that point was like most of the time she was what they call back on the East Coast bananas. So she would come to me because she would learn these breathing techniques, and I was teaching her how to breathe and how to focus and how to meditate so she could get off some of these drugs that she was on. And she was certified. She had the card and everything, certifiable, whatever they said. Basically, she is psychically unavailable. But she
Man.
always had this deep information, this very slow way of talking. And it was always very almost like slow, like every word she had to think about to get it out.
Mm.
So I hadn't seen her in months and months. She comes to my house and she says, this is after I've had my experience. And she says, Dr. B, I have something for you. And she hands me a ticket. And the ticket is to a lecture by a man named Dr. Kwaku Ando. She says, you have to go see this man. It's very important. And I'm here. I don't even, I've gone to the door. I'm trying to figure out how she even knows where I live. I'm still going through my breakdown. I can't really talk. And she just hands me this ticket and says, go to this lecture. You have to go. So, of course, I'm not in any condition to go anywhere. I stopped lecturing for a while. I stopped making herbs. I stopped everything because I had a breakdown. So the day of the lecture, I just got this feeling that I had to go. And I figured out how to get in my car because I couldn't drive and everything for like a month. I couldn't do anything. I figured out how to drive to get to this lecture. It took me like an hour to get a place that normally took maybe 15 minutes. And I go into the lecture hall and the man comes and he's a tall African man. He's a Ghanaian. And he's very famous. His name is Dr. Kwaku Ando. and he's speaking. And I figure he's going to talk about herbs and all this, because the lady knew I was an herbalist, so she must be telling me to go learn about herbs. And I'm sitting there, and he starts playing a slide. He starts showing a slide presentation of pictures. It is called The Prophecy on the Wall in San Francisco. You could look this up, The Prophecy on the Wall in San Francisco. I think you may still see pieces of this online. Dr. Kwaku Ando was a botanist who worked for Jimmy Carter when Jimmy Carter was president. He was one of the staff members who dealt with the plants, and he was, he was a very deep botanist, but he also was a Dogon priest. He was a Dogon priest. So he was into everything that had to do with the other side, other worlds, beings from other places. He knew about all that. He was a specialist. I didn't know that at the time because I didn't really know who he was. But he started showing this slide presentation. And Roderick, let me tell you something, man. The slide presentation was the history of man on Earth.
What?
And it was as if, okay, now check it out. In San Francisco, there's a huge retaining wall. I think it's like 2 stories high and 2 miles long. And it's concaved so that when the high tide comes, it doesn't wash San Francisco away. This wall is guarded 24/7. So there's no graffiti. This is like one of those high-end parts of town. You know what I'm saying? This is like no joke. So Dr. Ando, he jogs along the water line every day, because in San Francisco, whatever city he went to, the city or the state would give him, or the government would give him, what they call an arboretum, which is an area to study plants. And he would study the plants of the area because he's a botanist and he's very well known. And he's got, all these government, contacts and all that, because he used to work for Jimmy Carter. So he's jogging along the water every day, and he starts noticing these pictograms on the wall, on this retaining wall. So he tells his wife, his name is Callie Stitchin. She's actually got books out about this right now, Callie Stitchin with a K. And she starts taking pictures of these pictograms that are popping up on the wall that look like graffiti, but it can't be graffiti because nobody can draw, and it's too big. The pictures are huge, man. You have to have a perspective of being way back to draw this, but it's 2 miles long, 2 miles high, and every day there's more and more layers popping up on this wall. So him and his wife start taking pictures and taking measurements, and the government pops up. They start taking pictures and taking measurements and all this stuff, and they cordon the whole area off. Of course, he can stay because he's part of the, he used to be part of the government, so he's got special clearance. They determined that this is a projection coming from 22 miles out on the ocean, or from the sky over the horizon 22 miles out, and that this is a projection, a story of life on Earth. The symbols and everything on this wall are so deep. They show beings coming to the planet. They show this one group of beings coming that are basically mycelium. They're like mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? Different. I mean, it's really, 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 it was really amazing. But now I'm watching this and I'm like, I don't know, because I just had some experience and I don't know what they're talking about. And he's talking about some strange stuff. And he's talking about the world and where the world is and how we're going through a mutation. And everybody on the planet is being affected by it. And this is a message. This is an otherworldly message to man in San Francisco, the prophecy on the wall in San Francisco. So as he's talking, he gets to a point and he shows these 2 numbers, 2 3-digit numbers in his slide presentation. And he says, this one is the star coordinates for Sirius. This one is the star coordinate for Orion's belt. These are star coordinates, and they're on this pictogram. I freak out because these 2 number sequences I've been writing ever since I was in the Bermuda Triangle. I've written it on my hands. It's on my walls. It's everywhere. I was like, this is all I kept doing. I would sketch these numbers, kept sketching these numbers. And of course I was not consciously in my body for like a whole month after this experience. So I don't know what's happening. I just figure I have lost it. When he shows these numbers I freak out. Those numbers are star coordinates. So I get really upset and I get agitated. And I get up out of my seat and I'm about to leave the lecture hall because this is too much. My nervous system can't handle this. And he yells out from the stage area, Dr. B, don't you leave here without talking to me. And I'm looking, how does this guy know me? Who does he know me? So he actually comes over to me and grabs me by my shoulder. This is a really tall guy. And he says, man, look at you. You look just like they said you would look. You look just like they said in the prophecy. And he calls his wife. He says, Callie, come look. Look who it is. And she's from Georgia, right? And this is in California, right? When this is happening.
Okay.
She looks and she says, oh my God. Is that him? Is that the man? Is that Dr. B? I'm like, how do y'all know me? And he says, from the prophecy. What do you mean? You're part of a prophecy. There's a great story about you coming. I'm like, oh no, I can't handle this, man. I've already snapped these people. This is weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm gone. Yeah. It's like LSD on steroids. This is just real. And he's looking at me and he says, you've been to the vortex. Tell us about what you know. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So he tells me to call him the next day. He says, you don't know what's happening. Here, take this piece of paper and call me tomorrow. We need to talk. The next day I call him and basically I was supposed to go on the road with Jordan Maxwell. And I think Jordan Maxwell was supposed to go on the road with David Icke. And they asked me to go and open up because I was known in the community for, you know what I'm saying, my perspective on herbs and plants and also and a metaphysician. So Jordan Maxwell, who was a friend of, Jordan Maxwell, he was a friend of mine, and we were always trading information. He was always giving me top secret information, and he had asked me to go on tour. And Dr. Ando says, those men who have asked you to go on tour, you cannot go. You have something to do, something very big. You will not be going on the road with them. You will do what I tell you to do. And he says, now I need the formula. What is the formula? I says, what formula? He says, you have been working on a formula. You don't know? Maybe you have sleepwalked. Go home and check. I go to my laboratory, man. And in my laboratory, I have these big buckets of herbs and all these formulas I'm working on, stuff burning in the Petri dishes and all that stuff. I mean, the Bunsen burners. And I had been working on something in my sleep that I didn't even know I was working on. Dr. Ando knows that I've been working on this. First, he's a Dogon priest. So, Dogons be on some stuff, man. He says, will you go get that formula and bring it to me next week? So I go and I'm wondering, what is this? What is this mixture of herbs and what is it about? And I'm really at a loss. I can't, I don't know how this is happening. I gather the herbs a week later and I take it to meet him. And he grabs the bag of herbs and he says, this is almost it. I said, almost what? The parasite formula. I says, the parasite formula. You have been to the vortex. And when you went into the vortex, you were downloaded information about parasites. I said, parasites? I said, you mean like the ones in the colon? He says, not just those, systemic parasites. Toxoplasma, the one that's mind control that was brought here 6,000 years ago. He says it's for mental parasites, interdimensional parasites, cosmic parasites, alien parasites, beings coming to this planet to control mankind. You are in the prophecy, and they say you are the one that will stop them. I'm like, what? Yes, you. I'm freaking out. Me?
You should be.
Anyway, he says, the formula is almost complete. You need 3 more herbs. One is from the Caribbean, one is from the Nile, and one is Native American. I said, well, what are they? I don't know. I'm not the doctor. You are. I'm like, how do you even know? I just know what I know. And you need to go know what you know and remember who you are and go down into yourself so you can find the original programming in your DNA. It's in your memory. Man, I go home. I meet a guy named, I think his name was Brother Muhammad Mustafa, something like that. He brings me this plant, these seeds. He says, I understand you're looking for something. And it's these little seeds that look like pyramids. He says, these are from the Nile River. And I end up putting that in the form. I said, well, he said one was from the Nile. Then I met another guy I knew this guy named Chief Little Bear. He was one of my teachers. He was a, indigenous, medicine man who was training me at the time. And he gives me this stuff called bear root that the bears eat just before they come out of hibernation so that the wolves can't attack them. The wolves can't, it irritates the wolves' sense of smell. And the bears need this when they come out of hibernation because they're really thin and they're weak and they haven't eaten. So he says, this is a very important herb. It is used for this. It's used for parasites. It's used for all these things. And it's used a lot in metaphysics, and the witches use it. And I'm like, wow, man, this is deep. Then I am cleaning up my room. I'm starting to come back. My mind is coming back. And I'm vacuuming my room, and a book falls. My vacuum cleaner hits the bookshelf, and the book falls off the shelf. And it opens to this page about this herb called quassia. Quassia is high in quinine. And this man named Quasi was using this herb to help people who were dealing with malaria and all kinds of illnesses. Now there's this herb called quassia from the Caribbean that I've now found that just opened itself in a book. I put all that together. I brew it up. I bring it back. I meet Dr. Ando again. He grabs the bag, and I'm almost done here. He grabs the bag and he closes his eyes and he says, yes, this is it. Now, mind me, Roderick, he never looks in the bag. He feels the energy of the bag. And he says, this is it. This is one of the herbs. I'm trying to look for his book here. He's got several very books. Dr. Kwaku Ando. I might be able to show it later. But he's got several books about botany and about the African spirituality, study of plants and their spiritual significance in Africa. Anyway, he's the one who brought moringa, the plant moringa. Everybody's talking about moringa. You take this and it's good for, all your vitamins and minerals. He's the guy who introduced it to the United States. Anyway, he grabs the bag of herbs and he says, this is it. He says, now you are the parasite killer.
Ooh.
This is the parasite killer. Yes. And you are now, your name is not just Dr. B. Look in the sky. I look up. He says, you see that star? See the star blinking? He says, tell me what color it starts blinking. I'm looking at it, and it starts blinking red, white, and blue. He says, that is Sirius. That is your star. That is where you come from. Your name now is Dr. B. Sirius.
All right.
I'm like, what? And that's how I got my name, and that's how I came up with this parasite formula that I'm now, known for all over the world. And it's not just for, your regular colon parasites, it's for systemic parasites, mental parasites. It also helps with some spiritual parasites. So the project blew up, and all of a sudden I'm being called from everywhere, and people are doing this 28-day program, which now is called the Elevated Total Body Program, and also the Total Body Program. And that's the story of how that whole thing got started. I didn't start as an herbalist then. That's when I got on this piece about parasites. But I had been having paranormal experiences since I was a child.
Well, let's talk about that. And let me give you my impression of all that you have just told us. Okay. And only thing I can think of would be something to this effect.
Now, that was some strange shit right there.
That's about the only thing I can think of.
You had that queued up. That's pretty good, bro.
I'm ready. I stay ready. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, we are moving to what we call high strangeness around here. But one of the things I will say is, and I got two questions, and then we'll get into some questions. When you think about all of this, and I know you talked about the time of when this is happening, and maybe you alluded to it, but prior to that, were you under any duress or stress or anything before these experiences occurred?
I don't know what you mean by duress or stress.
Well, what I try to, this is for those people that listen that may not understand the story, because if you try to reflect on it, especially like yourself, I know it was stressful after the fact, but were you under any stress before the fact? You know what I'm saying? So how was life before this experience that when it happened?
My life has always been weird
Okay.
since I can remember. I had always seen things in the sky. Where I lived, there were, they had the place where they made submarines, nuclear submarines was not far from
Mhm.
my house.
Right.
Command aircraft, Sikorsky aircraft, all these places were around the area where I lived. So there was always experimental things going on. And there was always times at night where the sky would turn like blue. And there would be this vibration that you couldn't hear, that you could feel, and all the whole neighborhoods would shake, and dogs would howl. And my father would always say that, that's they're working on experimental craft. And we would see things in the sky. And this is back in the 60s. I would see things in the sky that I don't think we have the power to experiment like that. So I'm almost sure that, those were projects that were co-created between what you call man and some supermen or others. So all my life, I've been seeing things. I've always had a certain type of intuition. I've always had experiences. And the thing that kept me sane in most of my life was music. When I played music, I could stay focused. You know what I'm saying? People would speak and I could hear what they were really saying. Somebody in the family would be sick, and I could tell before they even said they were sick that they were going through something. I always had a premonition. I always had like knowledge beyond what the average person had as a child. They called it ADD. He's a little off. He's a little retarded. He's special. They had put me in the special class one time because, I knew stuff and I didn't really care about what they were teaching. I'd watch the bees outside the window of the school and watch the bees and knew that this big bumblebee was too large for its wings to be supporting it. And I knew that it was levitating, and I could almost talk to the bees. That's the whole reason why I became Dr. B in the first place, because I have this very connection with bees. You know what I'm saying? And the bee thing is deep. We can't go there today, but the bee thing is really, really deep. And when you look at it just today in life, you look at to be or not to be, and we're supposed to be being. To being means to be only in this moment. You can't be anywhere else. You can only be here now. So you can't be in the past. You can only be now. So to be means to be here now and to live in this particular moment, like the bees. They only live in this particular moment, and they're very organized. So when you ask me, was I under duress? I wasn't under any different duress than what I've ever been through. My whole life has been an experience. Even how I got into natural health. I mean, I was in music. I was in the music industry, and I got into natural health because, I got sick, very sick by being in the stressful music industry and having my mind controlled and controlling people and putting things in the music. They had us putting things in the music that caused people to be in a zone, to go take people into a trance state. They put that in music, the record companies, the mastering labs. After you made your song, you had to send it to the mastering lab, and they would put these frequencies in music. They've been doing this a long time. Then they would have this thing called backwards masking, where there would be speaking and sounds in the music that if you'd have to play the record backwards and you could hear it. Like a lot of the Beatles music had a lot of this in there. And it would be like, you are evil. You know what I'm saying? Obey. The same stuff from They Live. They had that stuff programmed in music. And you had to, if you were going to put out a major record, you had to put that stuff in your record. The problem was with analog, the signal that they were trying to put in music would degrade, or it would be not as clear. So that's why they went to digital, because with digital, they could digitally imprint this music that takes people into a zone where they're under mind control. And they didn't get really, really good with it until like the 1990s. And that's when they changed all the music, and everything switched up in the late 1990s, and it was totally controlled. And it's mind control. It's got to do with mind control, because basically there has been a thing to keep people on the planet like sheep, to almost make this into a slave planet, or to terraform the planet mentally. Terraform is when you're heating it up, changing everything, where you create this entropy where everything destroys itself. The people destroy themselves. The only issue is that people are mutating and we're changing. This thing called Gene Key 55 is coming online right now. And it's been happening since like 1987. Ever since 1987, when they noticed supernova 1987 in the sky, the people begin to change. All the children born after 1987 are the crystal children. They are not affected by the old programming. The old programming ran out. It didn't work. It was old school. It runs out. It only have a certain amount of time when these people, beings, are able to actually control everybody. So the people began to lose the brainwash program and wake up. They also knew that at this particular time, 2020, from 2020 to 2027, they would have to get full control of everybody on the planet. Otherwise, everybody would mutate. And we're mutating now to this next level. We're able to tap into what you might call the God power part of your body. There's a divinity code in every cell that is pure potential, right? That's been sitting there waiting to come online, right? And when it comes online, you are able to tap into your full self. You're able to tap into the DNA. Because see, they got this thing called the junk DNA, right? That's like 90% of the DNA. They said was junk. Well, why is it junk? And only 10% has anything to do with who I am? Because the 90% can be programmed by the environment. Our genes are not determining our lives. See, that was a story they told you to sell you on medicine and all that runs in the family. Some things do run in families, very few. But basically, that 90% of our DNA is an open palette that can be programmed by us. That junk DNA is the real DNA. That's that's the stuff that you can change. That is what they call God power. The blueprint for God power is in us. It has to be awakened. Now, it is awakening anyway because of current events, because, you notice now they're having trouble finding the North Pole. It's shifting. The pole stars are shift. Everything's changing on the planet. Everything is changing. You see, it's not the same anymore. So even though it looks like things are getting worse, in order for them to get worse, they have to get better too, because everything is connected to its opposite. As above, so below. So even though it looks like there's so much trouble in the world, actually the door is wide open for us to get off the farm and wake up. Those of us who are ready to tap in to this potential that's already in us, it's there for the taking. And it starts, check it out. October is the month that they use to rewrite your code. This is the ones who are trying to control the world. They use October. Why? October is 8. 8? No, you say, well, no, it's a 10. No, Oct means 8. September is 7. November is 9, right? December is 10. So what's going on here? It's because March is really the beginning of the original year. March. That's when things change. That's when we march forward into spring. And you spring forward by marching and walking towards the new year. Anyway, October is very important because it's the harvest season. You've heard about it. Oktoberfest. This is the time when you got pumpkins out. Halloween is coming. Oh my gosh. So they're talking about the farmers, right? Because this is all based on farming, are harvesting in October. Well, what happens is the sun changes its position. People start going through something called SAD, seasonal affective disorder. People begin to lose it because they become a little depressed. The sun's energy changes. They're still trying to eat the foods from the summer. It's an energy change that a lot of folks just kind of almost don't even get over. So in this particular month, your energy is low. Your vibration becomes low as you adjust to the new season. They also call it flu season because your immune system is affected by this, because the immune system and everything is based on light. Everything is based on light. So there's less light starting in October. Oct is an 8. 8 is what? The H. If you count, right, your numbers 8 is the same as the letter H. H is theta. Eta is theta. Theta is the space in between sleeping and awake. In between sleeping and awake is the theta state. See, this is where your dreams can really, they get clear, or your meditation. This is when you can recreate your life at this place, this dreamy place in between sleeping and awake. That's what happens when you get into deep states of trance and meditation. So this is the month that people automatically begin to go into deep states of transformation and trance states, right? If they were eating the right foods, thinking the right thoughts, having the right relationships, and if they knew who they were, this is the time people woke up. They said the witches come online. And we about to get deep. They said this is the witching month, right? And you should be scared because Halloween is coming. All Hallows Eve is the time when they're going to feed your children candy. And they just the children. You're going to put on a mask and go to a masquerade, right? And you're going to get tricked or treated, right? All Hallows Eve has to do with a ritual ceremony, which starts on All Hallows Eve. And I think the next day is All Saints Day or All Souls Day. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then the next one is All Saints Day. It's a 3-day ceremony that the church is doing on the people. One of them scares the hell out of you. The next day they take your soul because you're not really connected. You're not grounded because you're sad and you're depressed and you're scared and you're not being yourself. You're not being totally transparent anymore, right? Because you've lost yourself, because the sun's energy, which controls you, is not as bright, and you haven't stored enough energy in your solar plexus. I know I'm going deep, but I'm trying to get there quickly. So just follow me, y'all. So now, after you have All Souls Day, they have All Saints Day. This is when the saints come marching in. Marching. Why are they marching? Because it's a military. This is a military operation. So what are we talking about? October is the harvest month. Not you, because you ain't a farmer no more. You're being farmed. The people are the harvest. And October, this particular October is so important because what happens is there's this, it's like a balance. And if you put something on like a seesaw, if you put too much weight on one side goes up. They have to get enough people right now in this particular month to lose their minds, because everybody has the potential to tap into the original self this particular month in 2023, which is a 7. A 7 month means that we are existing in our God selves. We have the ability to be like co-creators again. After thousands of years of being asleep, this particular season, this particular one is so important, Brother Roderick, that we awaken fully and do our very best, because what's going to happen is when you get to December, they got all the holidays coming. They got Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving, right? We're going to eat ourselves to death and eat foods that's really going to kill us or going to make us very sick. People are going to be sad because of the holidays. They don't have nobody to be with. People drinking. It becomes a whole thing with the holiday season because they lull you into a deeper sleep. So by the time January comes, which Janu is the devil goat, that's actually not the beginning of the year, but they've told you that it is, and it's like the coldest month. What happens is people are totally asleep at this time. They do things, they eat things, and more people end up in the hospital between what? I think that the season of death is what is it? Thanksgiving to New Year's. More people die or get sick or come down with serious diseases in that time because your immune system, your mind, you're so depressed. You're on so many drugs. You've eaten so many foods so many drugs that's masquerading as food. The food is as bad as it could possibly get. People's minds are as controlled as they could possibly get because people are so caught on scrolling and getting into things that have nothing to do with them. Their emotions are being manipulated. Somebody's telling you what to think, how to think, when to think about everything. So the average person has lost it. But guess what? The powers that be know that this October is when they got to hit it hard. Because if you go to October, check your history. Every October, they got a lot of stuff to hit your nervous system to get you riled up. It's a science project. It's a science project. And the farmers are trying to keep the sheep on the farm because in October, we have the power to get off the farm once we realize that we have God power, we have co-creator power, and we are the original gods. You say, well, what do you mean we're the original gods? We are. This God thing is not some one thing. It's everything all together in one. We're part of a huge thing. We're existing in our bodies to have that existence and that experience as a part of the whole. So we worried about the aliens coming, right? Aliens is coming. Aliens been here. We aliens. I mean, come on, man. You see the way we treat the earth. We couldn't be from here. You don't treat your home like this. You know what I'm saying? Somebody help do this. What I'm saying is that some of the beings that are coming here, and this is part of the message I received when I was gone, some of the beings that are coming here are us. from the future. Some are from the past. Some are from the inner earth. Some are interdimensional beings. But the thing is, everybody's got their eye on Earth, Gaia, because this is a very important place. This is a very important planet. And if we destroy this, and if this thing drifts too far out of orbit, then everything is because everything is part of a huge network. It's like a neural network. It's like the mycelium network connects all the forests. Well, the mycelium network also connects the whole universe. So what we do, how we think, how we live has a lot of importance on everything. Now, this October, right now, the reason why there's so much going on in the world, and if you look at the news, it's crazy. I mean, it's hitting you from every direction. The mass distraction is on like never before. Why? To keep you from waking up, to keep you in fear, to keep you angry, to keep you in delusion and illusion, to keep you lost and turned out, to make you think you don't have power at the time when you do have power. That's why we're having the Blueprint for God Power event this month on the 29th. Because for some people, that's going to be the last chance they get to wake up. We're going to give out all the pieces that you need to wake up your neuropsychology. You got to take care of your biosphere, your magnetosphere. You've got to reseal and get ready to be able to so you can drive your ship. I'm gonna slow down because I know I'm on a roll here, brother.
Well, you're on a roll, but let me put a more emphasis on what you were saying.
Would you like a different destination? Are you ready to be the captain of the ship? We're going to challenge people.
So when you can combine spiritual concepts with financial literacy, then you really tap into your God power. And we are navigating through multiple matrices.
Once you do this workshop, it's going to take everything in your being to not become the person that you came to be.
So for those of you that is going to get your God power unleashed, I'm putting a little link here in the chat, and then there's also one in the description, but it may work not for Apple, but it could work for the Android people. So you can still get your tickets there, but there's a link here in the description there. I mean, in the chat. So if you guys need to click it and head over to and get your God power, because it is happening in October. Why not? He just said it. He set the foundation for everything. Doc, I got a couple of questions though, because you talk, you talk, you know that. Yeah, I'm gonna give that to you. I mean, I'm like everybody else. I was listening, learning, growing, and I'm like, man, we having a pre-God power thing going on right now. Something that caught my attention, and we've had this conversation before. I'm gonna go all the way back a little bit to the parasites. I'm gonna go all the way back to you are the parasite person that's going to destroy some of these parasites. But we talked about it. Some of these parasites are living organisms. Some could be aliens themselves. Are there good ones though? If you be the destroyer, how do you make sure you protect the good ones? Because we know they're living.
Anything that uses you as a host,
okay,
and gives you nothing in return is not good for you. A parasite is a being that uses another being as a host.
Okay.
It gives the host nothing. It eats its food. It usurps its energy. It controls its mind. It is a parasite. It is not a friendly bacteria. Now, there's friendly bacteria.
Okay.
There's things that actually are different. I'm talking about parasites. These are beings that use you. They're like Dracula. I mean, is Dracula good? You know what I'm saying? He's going to drink your blood. Yeah. Now you become, and a lot of people have become parasitic themselves. See, what happens is after you've been abused for so long, somebody could come to try to save you from the abuse. Once you've been oppressed for so long. Somebody can try to come and save you from oppression, and you will fight and try to protect your oppressor. Why? Yep. Because your mindset, right? This is what they call Stockholm syndrome. Your mindset has begun to have a relationship with your oppressor. Now you become like the oppressor. You may not oppress other people, but you may oppress yourself. You may oppress your own ability to be your higher self. You're in self-oppression, self-repression, self-depression. A lot of people have become parasitic. They want everything for free. They want it. Give me, give me, give me, give me. They're not going to do too much. They just want stuff for free. Somebody said, well, Dr. B, man, you know, this conference costs too much. I said, costs too much? What are you talking about costs too much? And I'm talking to this guy on the phone. He says, man, you know, I need a discount. He says, I said, well, what happened to all your money? You had a lot of money. He says, well, you know, I went to see Beyonce. So what do you mean? He said, I went to see a Beyonce. I said, well, how much did that cost? Oh, man, after it was all done, man, you know, me and my friends, you know, after, you know, so they called me. I said, how much? $1,200.
American dollar?
$1,200?
Damn.
You had $1,200, but he also wears $600-700 sneakers. People got $300 high heel shoes. They got bags that cost $5,000. So anything to make you look good, any type of fake up and all that kind of stuff that you might be wearing, right? To keep you in a state of the masquerade is going to keep you from being able to afford the things that you might need to invest in that could what? Be the pot of gold.
Would you spend $1,200 to see Beyonce?
Me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go see Beyonce. I could get a free ticket and not go. I'd give it away.
What? See, for me, I wouldn't.
Hell no.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go.
That's just me, because I'm a musician and I'm a producer and I know what the frequencies and what sounds and frequencies they're using right now to get people under control, to keep people anesthetized, to keep people asleep. The pressure is on right now more than ever. Do you know how many food recalls they've had in the last month? Do you know how many food recalls in the last month, 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
They're always in the back of the news. And also there was a food recall. Anyway, back in the news today. Back to you, Jim. Back to you, Jay. And they keep pumping up all this other stuff. They don't tell you the food is being, what's happening where the food is being recalled? What's happening where all of a sudden you got birds dropping out the sky? Thousands of birds just drop out the sky dead. And what was that, last year, not too long ago?
It just happened recently.
All those cows just dropped dead. I think it was in your area.
Oh, no. That was what we call cattle, you know. They stripped them down and took some of their body parts and all that. Those are those people doing that. But yeah, there was a big bird thing in Mexico recently. They a big flock of birds they said the storyline that they was evading a predator. I'm talking about what predator would be in the sky that 1,000 birds would take off running and slam themselves into the ground to get away from it. And they got the whole freaking sky to run around in, you know. But
no, they just dropped out the sky. And then they got the fish.
Yep.
Thousands and thousands of fish just pop up dead. Fish going around in circles in the ocean, don't even know where they're going because the magnetite, right? Magnetite is a mineral that helps you have your magnetism, your compass. You have a natural GPS in your head. But magnetite and a couple other minerals are the ones that keep you on focus. They keep you on pulse. They keep you on point. So gold in a high spin state, platinum, iridium. Iridium is your time clock. You know, iridium, they're using all the iridium right now to make computer time clocks, right? So these computers and phones can be faster and faster. But iridium is a micronutrient that you need in your food. So you know what your direction is and what time it is. People don't know what time it is. People don't know the alert because right now they're running out buying, you know, you can get your burger, I heard, for a penny or 50 cents or whatever it is. You can go get this and people will go get this quick. They will go get this frankenfood because most people have been anesthetized to the point where they're just dead waiting on dirt. They're like zombies, especially in the last 3 years. My point is, okay, I'm not saying, you know, don't do it. Do what you truly would like to do. The point that Dr. B is making for you to you right now, this is the time to choose. Choose to stay asleep or
Oh,
choose to rise. You got to figure out what is your vehicle? What is your ship? Which craft
Ooh.
are you going to use? Which thing, which ability? See, witchcraft is a deep statement. He said, oh, there's a witch. They were in the witchcraft. Who was that in Salem?
Witches watching, you know.
Salem, Connecticut, or Massachusetts. They killed almost everybody they said was a witch, except one woman. Yeah. Why? Because some of them had plants, some of them were using spices. In the church said that they're evil because people used to go to nature for healing. They call that paganism. That was when we watched the stars and the skies and we saw the clouds and read the clouds. You know, these clouds are living beings that give you messages. Really, everything is alive. I'm going to talk about that in God power, about how everything is alive. In the original system that we all follow was everything was alive. Everything had life. Every mineral, every animal, everything. And then we moved into this other thing where it's about separation, mind control, and then somebody blowing the clouds. But men decided that women and some men who were using plants for healing, who were using crystals and who were using numbers and numerology and all this kind of stuff, that was evil. That was pagan. So they killed almost everybody who was into anything natural, unless you follow the church. Remember, they had the Crusades. This is when they took it on the road. We're going to slice you open unless you believe in the God we say you need to believe in. Put some clothes on. Y'all naked people with grounding. Now, all of a sudden, grounding is cool. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. You should be grounded. Now, back in the day, you had to have shoes on. It was illegal for you to be walking around with no shoes on. You was too connected to the earth. And you connected to the earth, you got a signal from mama. When you're out naked, you're getting a vibration from the entire, ionosphere, the biosphere, the atmosphere. So you wear clothes, and a lot of the clothes that we're wearing are made of these, these microfibers and these chemicals and these, they're actually sucking the energy out of your body. That's why we have things like, 100% cotton and linen and wool. These are things that actually give your body energy. If you study the energy of fabrics, my point is that people, for the most part, are gone. You can't save them. We're not here attempting to save everybody. We're saying it is time for you to choose what type of vehicle you have. Who are you? Your body is a vessel. It's a ship. This is a ship within a ship. The earth is a ship itself. And your body is a vehicle. To some bugs, you look like you're an alien. There's animals that see you for the first time and say, oh my God, I saw an alien today. My God, he was in the woods. What was that? See, we look at everything because we're very judgmental. We see these ships and all these things in the sky and we say, they're alien. You are the alien on the earth right now with the things we do. I'm saying it's time to choose to get back to your original self and use the power that you have. We have the power to change our DNA. We have the power to choose and turn our junk DNA into powerful tools to create more wealth, to create more love, to create more business, to create more of everything we like, to heal our bodies. Did you know there are people that are going through spontaneous healing right now? I have clients that are having what they call a spontaneous healing. They do the cleanse, they do the mantras, they listen to the music that we create, and all of a sudden they change and they shift. We all have the power from that. In fact, in about a week or two, brother, you're going to get a package in the mail.
Hey, well, shit.
I got a package. I got a package coming for you, brother, because I'd like you to be on the ship. Because we have to choose. The question is, which craft are you going to be on? What is your craft? Which craft is a question. What is your talent? Which craft do you have? Is your thing water? Is your thing lying? Is your thing cheating? Is your thing being real? Is your thing love? Is it harmony? What is your thing? You got to choose.
Yeah.
Then you got to choose how to, learn how to be an alchemist and make love out of the things that are not love. The things that are happening in your world that you think are bad, a lot of them are just, this is an obstacle course down here that you put yourself on. You don't remember. Because masters always test themselves. You've seen the Kung Fu movies. Yep. The guy beat everybody. Now, why is he going out to fight again? I'm leaving my family. I must go one more time to fight the great Ugugu. the great Ugugu, I must fight him. Why? Don't leave the family. No, I am Master Changangu.
Yes,
Master Changangu must always prove himself as a master. A master always challenges himself. See, we got too comfortable being uncomfortable. And we don't remember being masters. We don't remember being healers. We don't remember that stuff. We are the original beings. It's all in us. It's just that it's latent. So you got to get into this thing called your siddhi. Siddhi, this is a Sanskrit word. It means divinely realized state of consciousness. Siddhi, a divinely realized state of consciousness. This is the God power that has potential that's in all of us. And it's provable. This ain't no concept. So Billy Carson, right? Billy Carson is doing this. He's living this. You know this. This man is not a regular human being. He couldn't be. First of all, I don't know how he's in several rooms at the same time doing different broadcasts. This man is doing it. He's showing us.
Multiplicity is what it's called.
He's living in the multiverse. He's showing us, and it's a lot of people right now who are showing us what's happening right now. Robert Edward Grant. I interviewed him when he came out of the pyramids, you know, when he actually had all these visions, and he came on my show. I did a show called Ask Dr. B, which is on the Forbidden Knowledge Network if you'd like to go check it out. And I think
you know what, we might do that tonight. I might open up the phone lines and let some people call in a little while to ask Dr. B. They don't want to do that. They don't want to ask you nothing. They don't want.
Well, if they like to, you know, we're gonna be here a little longer. I got time because see,
I got time too. So we gonna hang
out of time, brother. There is no more time on the universal clock for us. We have to choose now. We have to choose now because going into what they're calling the new year is when they begin to take us totally out. I mean, come on. Anytime you see the president and you don't even know what he's saying. Well, you know, they touch the hair on my legs. Come on, man. You don't know who to vote for.
He used the word love, though. You gotta love. You gotta love.
You got senators falling asleep. They ask him a question. He says, these are the people you voting in office. And you're going to tell me that you got your mind right when you're voting. Somebody's using your voltage, right? To what? To elect somebody, electricity, electrons, when you're not using the electrical energy and the potential that you have as a person on the planet because you've let them blindfold you and they keep telling you it's the end. It's the end times. It's the end times. Every time is the end time.
I need
the beginning of the new time.
I need your help.
Go ahead, help me.
Okay, I was going to do a video. You know, of course, you know my new brand is High Strangeness.
I love that. I like that.
Yeah, it's a new trademark. So let y'all know we're getting ready to go deep into the strangeness.
And I like this new look you got. You got a whole new look, man. Your whole background, your whole vibe. I mean,
you know what? I'm juicing. I'm getting ready to kill some parasites. I know there's one in here. Because I did a colonoscopy the other day, and they gave me the photograph after the colonoscopy, you know, and everything came back good. But I swear I saw some eyes in that camera. When they showed the picture, it was like a corner in my colon, and there was a set of eyes looking at the camera.
Looking at you.
Navigating.
What I'm telling you.
In there.
This new brand that you have is changing you. This new idea that you have is changing. Your DNA is changing. I can look in your eyes. From here through the camera, I can tell that you on a whole nother level. Because see, those who are chosen choose themselves, and we're waking up.
Absolutely.
This program, this platform that you have is helping a lot of people. We need more of these to wake people up from the deep sleep. See,
we gotta go. We gotta do it.
It's done.
But I'm gonna mess with some people's heads right quick.
Go ahead.
Because I got the right person here. I'm doing a show on head transplants. Okay. And you know, they're about to pull that off right now. Now, since we're talking about consciousness, we're talking about what you were just saying about the vessels. What the hell happens if someone put a head on a different body, right? Or are you still the same person? With all that work? Because is the head or not? Because these people are doing it, and I think they're gonna make it some commodity in the future, right? And everybody, you know, where for immortality, They're working on this. They're already doing it to rats. They're already moving to monkeys. People, they're probably already, there is a guy already volunteering in Russia who, because he has a debilitating, disease that his body doesn't move. So for what you're saying, and vessel in the mind and control, what happens? Am I too far-fetched when someone takes a head off this body, transplant it on this one? Are they still the same person? Or are they still considered, you know what I'm saying?
Everything is made of the same stuff.
Okay.
Everything that we know of is the same stuff. It's just how it manifests. It's how it's put together. It's what's holding it together. It's all got to do with the gluon state that's pulling certain objects that are alike together.
Got you.
When I was teaching at UCLA, I saw some things in the lab that were mind-blowing.
Okay.
They thought I was a doctor, you know what I'm saying? I was a Doctah, So, so the other scientists were like, "Oh, come on, Dr. B." So okay. And they gave me the badge, and I saw some things that really, this was way back, man. This is the 90s that will blow your mind. So they're doing all of that. What I'm attempting to convey to you is they've done something already that's deeper than that.
Ooh.
They have taken the heads off the average person through mind control techniques, through food, through activities, through beliefs. They're chopping the heads off of people so that people are no longer themselves. The people have been controlled through artificial intelligence. I'm not talking about the ones in the computer. I'm talking about the one where all of a sudden you just born on the planet and somebody starts talking about Santa Claus and some dude coming down the chimney. You don't think that's artificial intelligence? Is that real?
They talk about the Mandela effect, right? Where
there's
people,
the Mandela effect. There's all kinds of things that we have been programmed, right? Some things we're programmed to believe that never existed. We have been scared out of our natural God power, our creative power. The first belief system was called animism. Animism was when people knew everything was part of a God system. Everything was a part of a huge neural network. Everything was alive. They had to get rid of that. And they had to chop the heads off all the people. I'm talking about chop the heads off metaphorically, energetically, and spiritually. People have been, they've been through the guillotine. Isn't that what they call it when they chop your head off?
Yeah.
Mentally. They've lost their mind. And then check it out. People did a lot of this willingly. People are allowing themselves to go blind, deaf, and dumb. They're signing up for it because they don't have, the natural mind they were born with. They don't have the natural sense they were born with because they have been programmed so deeply to believe that they're on a farm, even though there's no fence. Well, they don't believe they have any power. So what I'm saying is more than cutting somebody's head off and sticking it on another body, that can be done scientifically. They're doing that. Yes, they are. But some of the people who you think that's not the same person.
What are they hiding? Why are they doing all this? Why are not just the head stuff? I'm saying, what is the reason that we have so much hidden layers within this universe where you got, we want people to wake up, but what are they waking up to? And then you get what I'm saying? And how far are they up? And first of all, let me thank a couple of people that who are sending, support to the show tonight. Appreciate that. And I got a text from someone that says, Tara, which we both met or know. She says, "What's up?" She's laughing at Doc tonight. You're doing an awesome job. But let me bag up for a minute. All right, we understand it's on. We understand that you're going to wake some people up to their God power. But who's behind the hidden? When we pull back the curtains, who, what, and why don't we need to know the truth? What's the purpose of controlling all in humans to do what? Slaves? Are we killing each other without that? Or are we their entertainment? You know what I mean? What's the purpose behind all of this charade?
The answer that has come to me and that was given to me,
Okay.
some people will have a huge issue with this.
That's why I ask those kind of questions, because I want people to be knowing. That's a whole different thought, but go ahead.
We did it.
What?
There's a part of us that's still in the reptilian mindset. Survival, power, control, evil, judgment. There's a part of us energetically that's still in the reptilian mindset. We haven't even become true mammals all the way yet. Mammals are loving and nurturing. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that they're not going to eat and, do things they got to do to survive, but this thing that we're involved in, when you see the devil behind the curtain, it's going to be us. It's the opposition of us. It's the other side, as above, so below. Everything is tied to its opposite. So when you look at yourself and you become self-accountable and you realize that there's some things in you that are not particularly good. In you, in all of us. None of us are perfect. The collective consciousness, which is like a huge network of thoughts and feelings and emotions, right, is collecting all of the things that are out of alignment up. There's a whole lot of us's out there that are out of alignment. So there's another you in another dimension, which is evil. There's another one that's like a prophet. They're all existing in the multiverse. This thing where we think somebody else did something to us is what keeps us as victims. And as long as we stay as victims, we no longer have power. We're giving it up because we think something did it to us. I remember I had this dream where this devil creature was always chasing me every night on this horse. He had a black horse. He was ugly. He had these teeth and he's got swords and he's chasing me every night. And I remember one night I went to sleep and I decided I wasn't going to run. And I stood there in the middle of the road and the creature came and I stood there. And the thing was fire coming out of his mouth, was all foaming. This is the evil demon, the Devil. And I stood there and it stopped. It said, I'm going to devour you. I'm going to kill you. And I remember asking, and this was deep. I asked the being, I says, okay, you got me. I'm tired of running. I'm not going to run anymore. Who are you? And basically he says, he's the devil. I said, well, if you're the devil, is there anything you cannot do? And it says, I can do anything. It says, if I can come up with one thing that you cannot do, will you go away and never bother me? And it said, sure. And it took off its mask. It was me. It was the ugly side of myself. I was scaring myself to death. And I said to this thing, can you be somewhere that the prime creator is not? And it stopped. And it disappeared. I basically said, if you can do anything, can you be somewhere where the prime creator is not? It couldn't answer that because it had to be created by the prime. Everything is created by the creators. We are the creators. We create evil. We take sides and these, conflicts and all this. You don't even have enough information to be taking a side. It's none of your business. You don't even know what's going on. A lot of what's going on, we're creating. We're creating the weather. We're talking about the bad weather that's happening, the fires. We're creating them with our consciousness. There is a consciousness network that we all, right? We have to break the spell and we have to clean this thing up. We have to do it starting with each other, starting with ourselves. We don't want to be self-accountable. We want to point to everybody else and make them victims. They did it. The black people did it. White people did it. The aliens did it. The wolf man did it. The saber-toothed frog did it. We always need to blame something on somebody else instead of being self-accountable. When you become self-accountable and say, look, I need to take care of me. I need to make sure I'm eating the best food. I need to go inside myself and find the blueprint for God power that is written inside every gene. Because when you do that, Brother Roderick, what happens is you have a change. You go through a change, a shift You actually go from one world, from one dimension to another world. I have seen this. I don't talk about nothing I don't know for a fact. I don't speak on things unless I have truly experienced it. I'm into quantum physics. Quantum physics is where spirituality, or what they call philosophy, and science come together. If they don't fit, if it's not provable, I'm not into it. I'm talking about things that's provable. I have had several dimensional shifts in my life. I have changed tracks, timelines many times, and I know lots of people who do it all the time. I know Billy Carson does it. I've seen you do it. We're doing this all the time, but sometimes we forget and we just want to blame and we just want to be upset about everything. And we want to call ourselves something. We don't want anybody to say nothing bad about us. We don't want to get our feelings hurt. We've become punks because we're eating the food, right? We're eating the food of slaves. We're following a slave mindset. We don't think we have power. All you got to do is be ready to change this dimension into another one, and it changes because there's another world where there's another existence right next to this one. There's 144,000 different dimensions happening at one time right now. Yeah, it's just like you could change you could choose what music you're listening to or what YouTube channel you on.
Yep.
You could choose that. We could choose to in the world.
I had a channeler that was going to teach me how to change timelines. But you know, when you were just talking about not taking accountability, all I could vision just this moment was the devil was sitting there just crying. And then you go up to him and say, "What's the matter? They always blaming everything on me," you know, instead of taking accountability, right? And I don't know, maybe that was a bad joke, but get the point. They get the point. They get it.
Where did the devil come from? If you're into the God story, who made the devil? God.
Right.
We got to stop for a minute. What, you mean the devil made God? He's not equal.
Right.
If that's your story, it don't add up. And if it don't add up, the math ain't right. Add it up. I keep telling people, add it up. It don't make sense. What does make sense is that we are creating everything and we could change it. We just don't remember how, because we don't remember that we are space beings.
Yeah.
We don't remember which craft we're able to use. There's different crafts, different abilities we all have naturally, innately. We forgot them because we told, "Oh, you just can't do music all your life. You got to get a good job." Now you don't do your music anymore. There's people who used to be healers as children. There's people right now, these crystal children that are here right now. You keep saying the ADD and they're all on the spectrum. We're all on the spectrum. Which spectrum are you talking about? Some of these beings that are coming here right now are very powerful and they're able to change everything. They're tapped into their God power, and being tapped into your God power, you leave this world. You leave convention. You're not worried about what they're doing out there. You're no longer a victim of circumstances, and you don't need something to happen to you to feel joy. You don't need something to happen. See, we think something's got to happen. No, you become the happening. Brother, I'm telling you, what I'm saying right now, and this message, and the reason why I'm so pumped up tonight is because this is it. This is the October. This is the October Fest. This is the big change where we decide whether we're going to be the harvest, be harvested, because that's what they're doing. They're harvesting people, harvesting minds, harvesting souls, spirits, not really souls, but spirits, to make people brain dead so they'll just stay on the farm because the farm fence is broken. The fence is actually broken, but the sheep will stay on the farm. We did an experiment in school where we took the fish and put them in a tank, and we put a glass down the middle of the tank, water on one side, the fish on the other with water. And we kept feeding the fish for 28 days. Then we took the glass away, right? Do you know not one of those fish went to the other side of the fish tank? Even though we put food over there, they wouldn't go. It's almost like they would go to where the glass was and bounce off because their minds had been conditioned. They do this to all domesticated animals, farm animals.
Fleas, elephants, they do that to baby elephants. They tie them little ropes when they're a baby and they're struggling. Then when they're a full-grown adult, they won't even pull it because they're mentally thinking they can't break it, which they're some of the most strongest creatures. They even did a study on fleas where they had
won't jump out the top.
Generational fleas, right? Where they had them in this thing and they had a lid on it and the fleas will jump and they kept hitting the top or whatever. And then when they removed the top, the next generation of the fleas wouldn't jump as high because from the first generation, and it's kind of like, one of those things. But my question would be is, are we from Earth? Because you're talking now about we could be the aliens. So people people ask me all the time, Roderick, what did they look like? Now I do jokingly say, what if we look like them, right? And what if we are the aliens and we look like the aliens? And I only use that technically, and I don't get into it much when I go to the book of Genesis and the Bible says, let's make man in our image and the likenesses of ourselves. I'm like, that's a group of folks talking, if that's the case. But my question, are we originally from Earth, in your opinion?
No.
Okay. And
I
we're
know for
not.
a fact. It's not an opinion. I know for a fact that we're visitors. We're space dust, first of all. We're from everywhere. And we're rays of light coming from different points and different stars. And we have chosen to have this experience in these avatars, these Earth rovers on Earth. We're from everywhere. And space is not empty space. It's dark matter.
Well, then why follow law? Why follow law then? If you know that it's like we're talking about reincarnation too, right? You're alluding in that. So if we know we can just check out, come back, go somewhere else, or there's a better place, how do we keep lawlessness? Because people will be like, hell, fuck it, I'm just gonna check out, or do some of these people who are going around killing 100 folks know that they can care less because they can just go somewhere else and just start over?
You see, people are here.
You get what I'm saying?
And I do. This is like a college.
Okay.
This is where you come to learn. This is where you come to learn how to operate your vehicle. And one of the laws is to do no harm. That's one of the laws. Do no harm to anyone, and especially yourself. Now, so they got this thing called the microbiome, which was all the different bacteria in your gut, right? Living in this microorganism or organismic world in your gut. Have you ever heard of the macro? The macrobiome?
Yeah.
That's everything. The vastness of everything. All certain beings that come together are part of a network that exist everywhere at all times. See, we can't imagine this because we forgot. When we fell to earth, when man had its falling, we forgot a lot of stuff. The shaman and medicine people from back in the days, they would disappear. I mean, look at the people in Australia. They would go into dream time, and what they say, that this time is not the real thing. The dream time they go into, that world is real, and this one is the dream. See, we can't sometimes imagine that because we've been programmed by politics and by news, and they told you what was real. You learned this language of disempowerment. You learned about how hard things was, how impossible things are, and you were programmed. Your original head was chopped off. So you were born with a natural God power. So like these children that if you just leave them alone, look, who are some of the most intelligent children in the world? I shouldn't say intelligent. Who are some of the who rate the highest on the educational spectrum? Do you know who they are? These children in countries where they don't teach them anything. Finland. What are they teaching the children? Children do whatever they want to do.
They're indigenous. Yeah, they don't. Yeah,
in Finland,
they don't experience all of this.
They don't have tests. They don't have scores. They don't have grades. They're not put under pressure. Why are you gonna send me home with homework? I send my children to the school, right? And they down there all day long, and they come home, and all of a sudden I got to teach them work with their homework all night till 1 o'clock in the morning. That's what this lady told me one day. Yeah, what's with homework? I found something in the school, why do I have to do homework with them? Because they're processing the mind of the child to work, to be a worker or to go to prison. In prison, you're going to be a slave. To accept a minimum wage, to go to college, to learn how to keep a job. Are they teaching you how to start your own business and to make your business thrive? Are they teaching you that? They tell you these pictures and stories and these pictograms, and they keep rehashing this information and transliterating original documents and scrolls so that you can believe and follow a story just like in The Wizard of Oz. That man behind the curtain has been telling you this stuff all the time. You don't think you have a heart. You don't think you have a brain. You see what I'm saying? You don't think you have courage, but actually you do. But it's mind control to keep you thinking that you can't have it. What I'm saying, there is laws that have to be followed in this place as you're on this earth spell. Yes, there is laws here, but it's about you becoming a better being. It's mastering yourself. Otherwise, you may have to come back again. And let me tell you, the people that you think are bad, like the people that we say are bad, they're not really that bad. I'm going to tell you why. They told you what they was going to do.
Yeah,
these folks tell you what they're going to do. This is what we're doing. We're trying to reduce the population. And what we're doing is shit. They tell you. So they don't have no bad karma. You got bad karma when you didn't tell somebody what you had doing. You was underhanded. These folks are right out with it. It's on the news. If you listen to the news, they keep telling you. But you don't read the fine print. You read these contracts and things, and the fine print on a product that you just bought. It tells you not only will it kill roaches, it's going to kill you too. Says that right there. You didn't read it, or you didn't call that 800 number. So you agree. The roach spray kills humans. It actually kills humans. The roaches, you got to drown them. You ever notice that? The roach spray just don't die. You got to drown them. I mean, he's actually in a, you got to give him a shower. You got to get over it, and you know, Lake Black Flag, and he's that's one roach. And that roach, come on now. What I'm saying is, we don't read labels. We don't read between the lines. We've been trained. So now we are space vessels. I need you to hear me. We're space vessels. We have the ability to change everything. 90% of our DNA is junk DNA, but it's not. It's programmable. You can become a beautiful person and walk right through the storm. There's people that could drink poison and it wouldn't kill them. There's people that are creating love and harmony. Let me tell you something. When you begin to study people, study the works of David R. Hawkins, Power versus Peace. I mean, Power versus Force. I like that, Power versus Peace. Power versus Force. This is by David R. Hawkins, a scientist. He's a doctor. They did the experiments to figure out what energies, right? This is how you get this whole thing about the high energy and the low energy. They studied kinesiology to do muscle testing to see what type of energies people had in different mind states. When a person is in a mind state and they at 500 on the scale, they're in pure love. Yeah. Did you know that 500, which is pure love, not just like a lot, but pure love, affects 250,000 people below that who are on the lower levels, like 250. That means that, I need you to hear this. This is important. 10,000 people vibrating at true love is what keeps this whole thing in balance. As long as there's 10,000 people, just that few, out of 6 or 7 billion, vibrating at the vibration of true love, everybody else is in homeostasis. It looks real bad, but it's not as bad as it could be, because if bad was so bad, we wouldn't be here. There's always a balance. Everything is connected to its opposite. So if something really bad is happening, something really good is happening. So many people are like losing what you call losing their life. A whole lot of people are gaining their lives. A whole lot of people are going to sleep. There's a whole lot of people waking up at the same time. Don't get caught up in what they're telling you, and don't get caught up in what the social media is saying about how bad it is, because we get magnetized towards what's worse. We're so caught up in the drama and the turmoil. We allow ourselves to be like that. I'm saying that this is the best time to be a lover. This is the best time to awaken. This is the time, the only time that a lot of people are going to get to wake up. Because what they're going to start doing, when I say they, those are the parts of us that are testing us. The other, I don't want to call it the dark side either, because it ain't the dark side.
Right.
They're throwing everything at us now, and they're not going to stop because their time is up. The time is up. And this is the time when the new being arises. This is the time with the DNA. There's a part of our DNA that's been dormant that's waking up, and they knew about it. They studied it. They did so much studies on people. They knew that we would awaken. Now you say, well, who's they again? Well, it's us. And we're like sparring partners, testing ourselves to be masters. Only the masters are going to make it. Only ones that are able to truly master one thing. You only need to master one thing. If you're knitting, let's say your thing is knitting. You should only be focused on knitting. Do the best knitting you could do. Every day, like my grandmother, all she did was knit. And I asked my grandmother, I said, Grandma, what are you knitting for? Why are you knitting? Because everybody had blankets and everybody had every piece of clothing you could think of. She had socks, everything she would knit. And I asked her one day, she would hum and knit, right? And I said, Grandma, what are you thinking about? What are you doing with this knitting? And she says, son, I'm imagining my family and I'm knitting the fabric of my family together and healing my family. What?
Yeah. And sewing that energy into the blanket and handing it to somebody, and next thing you know, and that goes back to the old folks when they used to say master, jack of all trade, master of none, and people were like, oh man, I do all, because you can asking people now, what kind of business you do? Well, I do everything. I'm like, okay, what do you specialize in? But life is like that, is what you're saying too. We have to make sure we know. In some cases, people want to use your purpose, and that used to be the key word back in the day. But I guess at this point now, it's again, why are you here? And because everything works with a divine intelligence, it all has to have, nothing just happens, so to speak. Everything it's orchestrated. We just got to make sure you're in the right place where you're supposed to be. And I think that's the part of that.
Brother, you hitting it right on the head. See, it's not enough to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
You have to be the right person in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
How do you do that? It sounds like this is really difficult, but there's so many things guiding you. You see numbers. You keep seeing numbers pop up, 333, 111, what they call angel numbers. You keep getting these gut feelings that tell you turn left, but you turn right.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? You keep getting a certain phone call or feeling a premonition that something's going to happen and you don't believe it because it wasn't on the news. Your friends didn't feel it. We all have this gut feeling, which is a part of the God Power Network. But now we've gotten so far away from it, we need the blueprint. So a lot of people that came to the blueprint for God Power 1, their lives changed. Over 10,000 people have attended the God Power 1 event, and their lives, the people who use the techniques, not just heard about it and read about it and stopped doing it after a month. There were practices, there's exercises, there's eye movements, there's things that you do every day, because it's that repetition of pleasure and pain that changes the substructure of everything. It's the repetition. So the people who took God Power 1 their lives, who really are using it, people are still writing me letters and phone calls about they became wealthy, they met the love of their life, their health changed. Because what we're saying is there's some things, there's angles and movements and sacred geometry, right? In movements, like martial arts is all sacred geometry. Once you understand these movements, then all of a sudden you're able to stay in your lane. You're going to learn to mind your business and business your mind. Some things have nothing to do with you and you're speaking on it. They keep telling you what the stars are doing and what relationship issues they got. What's that got to do with you? And you want to talk about it and you want to gossip because that's the big thing that the average person is into, because the average person basically is blind, deaf, and dumb. People's lives literally changed. What we're saying is this: now we're doing part 2. Part 2, what Billy Carson and I are preparing right now to give this Sunday, is information we've never given before. Some of the information that I'm going to share, I wasn't able to share it till now because many of the traditions that I've been in, we had to take an oath. One tradition, indigenous, Americans, there's an oath that I had to take to become what they call the medicine man. And there's things that you just can't do. When I work with certain people, certain groups, there's an oath. And you just don't get out and start telling stuff and you all on YouTube talking and you telling your friends. You can't do that. You have to wait till the right time. Well, I was told that the right time was 2022. The right time to start dropping the information that was going to help the people of this planet was 2022. Now, I don't really know about this prophecy that Dr. Ando and them were talking about. I just know that I'm here to do a special thing right now that I don't see anybody else doing. We all have a unique job. We all have different things and different beliefs. I'm here. I'm talking to the people that can truly hear me. Not everybody's supposed to hear me. I'm not telling you to go along with me. Go do what you got to do.
Yep.
Mind your business. I am saying that there is a ship, a boat, a craft. The mother craft is an energetic vehicle that is coming to take each of us to other dimensions when we allow ourselves to be our original selves. Allow yourself to say no sometime. Allow yourself to say, yes, I'm going to let this happen. See, don't be getting into this I am anymore. I am is old. I am is root chakra, reptilian. I am. You're always proclaiming what you are. You don't know what you are right now. But now, if you say, I allow myself to be my best self. I allow myself to make the better move. I allow myself to let go of the gossip. I allow myself to let go of my family who's not down with me. Just don't go. Just for a minute. Hold on. Because you got to get away from the candy counter. The candy counter. I was in the 7-Eleven in California, and a whole bunch of students came in from the high school, and the man behind the counter said, you children, get away from the candy counter. Get away from the candy counter. You got the sweet tooth. Get away from the candy counter. Man, that's deep. Get away from the candy counter, because the America has a candy counter. They keep giving you sweet little nuggets of things and pictures of dreams that didn't exist, from Santa Claus to fairy tales, the politics, telling you it's going to be all right when you get to heaven. You got to create heaven on earth right now. Right now, this month. This month, I'm telling you. And I've never come like this because we're in emergency. And emergency is when you emerge. This is the time when we get to elevate. God Power 2 happening this Sunday from 10 a.m. I know you've seen some of the advertisements. They said 11. It's from 10 a.m. because I just asked for another hour, because what I'm covering, and it's so much that I would like to give, and that Billy is going to give. Billy just got back from the pyramids. He was gone for 3 weeks. We couldn't even talk to him. I'm sending him a message, smoke signals, flares. We supposed to do this. He couldn't. He was gone. Do you know, you have any idea what he might be about to share after he just came back from the Giza Plateau? And I could tell you the way he was talking on some of those IGs and some of those, those when he was filming, he's different. He can't be the same person. He just got back from the Giza Plateau. And let me tell you something else. Those pyramids are not the same pyramids.
Look, my Scooby-Doo like, roar.
Nothing is the same. Everything has changed. It's so minute, you may not notice it.
Yeah.
I could tell that Roderick Martin has changed. This is a different Roderick that I'm talking to. I'm looking at your eyes, brother. So you may not realize that when you go to sleep at night, you die. And you wake back up. Do you know every second? And this is what I found out when I was studying.
We know your skin cells die, so why not overall?
Every organ in your body is renewing itself.
Yeah.
Every organ. Did you know that every millisecond, your body is disassembling itself and coming back together? Every particle. Quantum physics has proved it. You can become a new being when you choose. But you've got to get out of the victim, angry, scared architect, excuse me, and become what? Courageous. One person with courage on a plane that's about to crash. One person who's in pure love and courage, because courage and love are together. One person on an airplane that's about to crash, who's in true courage and true love, could change the angle of the plane.
I've heard that before. I've heard
Gregory did it. The plane was going to hit a mountain. And everybody was scared and screaming because they, he got into this mode and began to do this breathing. There's a special breathing. I'm going to teach some of this in the God Power. There's a very special breathing that we learned as drummers. Because see, I learned, drumming from, people from the continent who were into drumming, not for entertainment. They were into drumming for spiritual effects, to send messages through the forest many miles away. You see? So I learned how to do some things as a youth. You see? And when we get into a certain zone, we have the power to affect the whole mycelium network, the whole universe. Your own self. See, we don't think we have that power, but we do. We can affect everything. There could be people arguing, right? And you could just sit there and get quiet and get into this breathing and start imagining the opposite, imagining love at the deepest level. There's an energy that leaves your body as waves, and it goes into the quantum field. And if the waves are strong enough and consistent and focused enough, they collapse the particles, the waves into particles, and they change what's happening. You can change matter. Your words matter. Your thoughts matter. They materialize. What you do every day matters. So what we're doing.
Didn't they do that with the test of water? I
want you to do something right now. I want you to taste that water, brother. Taste the water.
We're going to taste the water.
Taste your water. We're going to change. I'm going to change your water from here. See what it tastes like.
All right, let me take the label off.
No, don't worry about the label, because this thing, what I'm about to do goes past that label.
All right, let's go. I'm tasting the water.
Taste it. I want you to see what it tastes like. Taste it in your mouth. See the softness of it. You got it? You're funny, man.
Hey, listen.
All right, now hold the water in your right hand. Hold your water.
I want to work some imagination on these lips out there.
Okay, come on,
ladies. But go ahead.
Watch it now. Hold that one. No, hold the water in your right hand. Right. Just hold the whole water in your right hand, right? Okay. Remember what it tastes like, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shine a light. Look at the light.
Okay.
All right. I want you to taste the water.
And the light was blinking. But go ahead.
Taste the water. Is it different?
You know what? You could I when I was tasting it, I felt the light. You know what I'm saying? Like it was flashing a little bit, you know, when my eyes was closed. But
taste it.
It does have a different taste.
Okay, hold it up again. Hold it up again.
Okay.
All right, now taste the water.
Yeah, it's getting a little dry.
We just did a quantum shift. The molecules in your water are now organized and structured. All I did was shine a quantum light, a special light, across the internet to the satellites or wherever the signal goes, that hit that water and changed it. It also changed the water in the mindset of everybody who was watching that light. Some of y'all people write in on the chat right now. Did you feel a change and a shift when I shined that light?
Hey.
Everybody just had a dimensional shift, whether they like it or not. Some people are not going to like it because they don't want to change. They like the way they were.
Well, see, I've seen a test where they would do sound on water, and they can put like darkness in the water molecule itself. When they looked at it, took the shape of the energy of what was going in it. So that's why I drink spring water all the time now, you know, versus water from the hydrant, because, you know, they just recycle that water, and you're talking death, you're talking dead stuff, all stuff in that water, right? But yeah, they pretty much did a test where they actually put music into the water, like they did like a symphony, like Beethoven, and the water responded totally different to more love music than the other music that and so when they, you know, put the microscope on the molecule of the water, it just totally changed.
We just did that.
Yeah.
That was music. So you didn't hear the sound, but music is light. Light is music.
Yeah.
What we did was use this quantum light. By the way, I do have them available on the website for people who would like it.
And the website is in the chat.
Elevationtime.com.
It's not in the chat. It's down in the description of the video. You can click it right now in real time, and then let them know in the chat that you just bought the light. But go ahead.
And whether you got the light or not, the thing is that when you go to the website, elevationtime.com, you're going to see the event, God Power 2. There's two links. One of them takes you to Eventbrite. For some people, it wasn't working with Apple devices. So there's a second link there also that you could click. Or you can go to events in my website. Go to events and you'll see God Power 2. And there's two links. One of them takes you to Forbidden Knowledge where you can take care of it there. But we had some issues. There's been challenges. You know, when you're doing something really good, you're going to receive resistance. When you're attempting to have a change and move away from the mainstream and become an apostate. An apostate is a person that moves away from the mainstream and travels on a whole nother angle. When you attempt to do that, you're going to receive resistance. Some people go through pain, they go through tears, they go through, you know, when you're having a shift in life and you begin to go through the ascension process. Oh man, sometimes it's like you're about to lose it. And all your friends are looking at you crazy. What do you mean you don't want to go eat the hog head cheese with us? And you know, you don't want to go drink with us this weekend. Right. You don't want to hang out and listen to this music that's taking us to the grave. You want to, you've changed. What's wrong with you? People get upset. So you have to be what? You have to be courageous and say, I'm going to take a break. Just take a break. Take a 3-month break because the next 3 months is going to be the 3 months that's going to change everything. You're going to see in the springtime, folks are going to be saying, Dr. B, this is what Dr. B, and this is what Billy Carson was talking about. Yeah. This is what Roderick Martin was talking about.
Yep.
You think you're seeing all these ships? There's more ships showing up now than ever because some of them is trying to come to help you. Some of them are you riding on a ship from the future to the past, trying to wake your butt up. Because we have to wake up now. Otherwise, we may not be able to change. This is the message that you get. If you turn on the news for 15 minutes and watch what's happening on the news, they're playing with your emotions. You weren't there. You don't know any of this. Now, I'm not saying that terrible things aren't happening, but they've always been happening. But why are you flashing this to me?
Yeah.
Because they know at the same time, people are going through a natural ascension process where the God power, right? The part of their genes, the part that's built into the system is coming online because of the angle that we're at in the universe. They knew that Sirius would rise between September and October. Sirius is in the sky. Sirius is closer than you've ever seen it. The Orion's belt is closer than you've ever seen it because we're not in the same place in space. The sun looks different than you've ever seen it. The moon, if you're very, some people are sensitive and they can feel it.
Yeah, I get a lot of calls about people, the moon, and, hey, Roderick, we need to check this out. We need to check out the moon. And I think one of the things that you're saying, until I would use it like a quote, until the pain of change or the pain of change outweigh the pain of remaining the same, would one change?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
You was a ball player.
Yeah,
I've heard that through the grapevine. You didn't tell me that.
Hey, man.
They told me you was good.
And I was born 6 pounds, 7 ounces, too. I was a lot smaller.
See, you're not supposed to be able to play ball. Born at 6 pounds, 8 ounces.
Yes.
You're not supposed to. You're too small. Yeah. Your bone density will never be enough. But they tell me you were really good. They said you was on the way to be a star.
Yes.
When you were out there training.
Yes.
Your muscles went through what? Pain. Yep. You had to stress your muscles.
Yep.
You had to go through resistance to get to be the place where you became a winner. Because right now, come on, man, you're still a winner. You still on the game. You got one of the biggest platforms, bro. You got a huge platform. You're still a winner. You're still going for the touchdown.
Because I didn't come to see the show. I come to be the show.
You are the show.
Shoot.
You honey, are
say it again.
Show.
Say it again. They didn't hear me. They didn't hear you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is strange within itself because it's weird. When you look at the word weird, the weird means that you're doing some metaphysical stuff people can't understand.
Because I remember the first time we met, you sat down, we was eating breakfast, and I came with some sweets, and you looked at me like, you gonna let that shit kill you, brother, or what?
Man, you didn't just have sweets. You had everything on the plate.
You were like,
I just looked at it.
Are you gonna make the decision to kill yourself, or are they gonna do it? Which one? Because boy, look at that. By that time, I'm easing it all over a little bit. I'm feeling all bad and stuff. But since then, it's been rocking, man. But go ahead. But
you've changed a lot. I mean, we're all waiting for the signal to
Yes.
change. I'm saying we can no longer wait on the signal to change.
Absolutely.
I'm saying we must change it. That's why I said which craft, which talent, which way, which path are you going to take? You have to choose now.
It is so, I can show the notes in there, and this is a true story. Just yesterday, I'm sitting and saying, okay, Roderick, it's time to bend the knee, not me, just because I always say to my haters, if you can hate me and not know me, I can still love you without ever meeting you. But now I get enough haters that keep watching me. I want to tell them now they're fans. They're really a fan. But the whole point is I was writing down in this new high strangeness trademark that's filed with the government and all of this, my new tagline or catchphrase of you may not believe it, the clothing line and of high strangeness. And I said, well, what makes you different than anyone else in the space of what you're doing and how you're doing it? How do you bring out your project you is what we're going to call it. Your own uniqueness. Just make that up. They might want to coin that, somebody. But the whole point was it is time to look and understand who you are. Roderick, I'm talking to myself, and I do that a lot, but when I start conversing, it gets really wild. And I was like, this is who you are. This is your qualities. This is non-duplicatable things about you that when someone comes to see you and they're going to come to see some of the stuff you're doing, they're going to get some unique stuff. List those qualities and home in on it and be a master of that, because this is where you are now. And as Shaka Zulu said, nothing will be as it was ever again. And I say that to myself all the time. And now and you're just talking about it tonight, but it's been the last 24 hours of me restructuring everything and then finding that uniqueness and saying, this is you, this is what you're providing to the world. This is why you're not only you're here, but this is what you're going to do, and touch lives and change lives. And that is what we should be doing. But like you said, a lot of people listen to that other side of the brain or that conditioning and all of that we have been. And I think I told you earlier, I said, well, it's time for people to stop making struggling a habit. I used to do that.
Yes.
I made struggling a freaking habit. I lived up to the expectation. Oh, you always doing something. You always starting something. The hell with that. Let me finish this last shit now. You know what I'm saying? This game here, I'm going to the end. Let's take this and go across the finish line. But I think a lot of people need to hear it and understand that God power, because when I attended the first one and you there beating your drums, and I'm doing the different stretches, I'm doing all of the different stuff. And now you should have seen it. If y'all had a camera on me, it would have been a comedy hour. But the whole point was I was so impressed, not only and I'm speaking from watching you on this, but I know you personally. We talk, I get what people are getting now. I get this from you, right? We talk in private conversations, but to see it and to participate with it was life-changing. And I think a lot of people may not understand what's really hidden in with them, because there's just so many people around them that keeps it corral. And it may be time to break those folks off too. And maybe some isolation time, not independence, but, just being and discovering who you are. And I think they're going to do that. That's just my testimony. So
we have to become spell breakers, because we've been spellbound.
Absolutely.
And it is actually, all those disagreeable things are worthy opponents.
Yeah.
There was a Star Trek called The Arena, where Captain Kirk and the reptilian guy, these reptilians are on their ship.
Yeah.
You remember that? And these people called the Metrons took the two captains, Captain Kirk and the captain of the reptilians, and put them on an island.
And they couldn't use no weapons. They couldn't use
any weapons.
They said, I was a kid because Captain Kirk told me the birds and bees too, messing with all the green women, yellow women, lizard-looking women. But go ahead. Yes.
They had to fight. They were not to destroy their people. You two fight. If y'all got a problem, y'all take it out on each other and use no weapons and use only what's on the planet.
And that little
So-
dude was huge. I remember because he picked Kirk up, throwing him around. He
was picking up big rocks.
Then he had to find that weakness, though. He had to find
check
the
this
weakness.
out. They're talking on their communicators to their ship. They're explaining to their ship what's going on, but the ship can't communicate with them. So the reptilian's talking to his people on his ship. He's talking to them, right? And they're watching him on the screen. Kirk is talking to his people. I wish Spock was here now. I got to find some sulfur, maybe some carbon. And he's trying to make gunpowder. They're talking to their ship. And while this is happening, all of a sudden, the reptilian says, Captain Kirk. Kirk says, who's that? The Metrons? He's thinking it's the people that's controlling all this. And the guy says, no, this is your opponent speaking. He says, well, what do you want? What do you want? I grow weary of the chase. Wait for me. I will be merciful and quick. Wait a minute. Kirk represents the higher mind.
Yes.
The reptilian represents the lower mind. The lower mind, the reptilian tells Captain Kirk, he's tired of chasing them. He grows weary of the chase. Now, this is some egotistical stuff right here. I haven't caught you, but I want you to know I'm going to catch you. Let me catch you now so we can get this over with. I'm going to be merciful and quick.
We're going to make it quick.
Your lower mind will talk you in to giving up on being the higher self. Because you were taught that from a child. You were taught struggle. You were taught pain. It's going to be tough. You were taught the news and the noose has been hanging you, and it's been a nuisance in your life. And you don't realize that most of that stuff is an illusion. This whole world is a construct. It's like an illusion. It's like a huge video game. But there are pieces of it that we can change. As long as you're able to listen to your higher mind. And even when Captain Kirk had the chance, because he had the reptilian down, he was going to kill him. And he says, no, I won't kill you. I won't kill him. The higher mind has so much love that it won't even kill the lower mind, because if you kill the lower mind, the higher mind dies.
Yeah, maximum.
As above, so below. Everything is connected. You can't kill your lower self. Your shadow is important. Your shadow is the victim archetype. Your shadow is important. For you to go through a lot of resistance is part of life. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. And then you get to this point where you get to this genius, the gift of genius is now all of a sudden I realize that I have always had the power to create. I've always had the power to build or destroy. Then you go up into this other divine mind, right? Where you divinely realize your state of consciousness, that you had the power all along, and that the reptilian and the lower mind were just worthy opponents testing you to become a master. I am asking all of you, if you're ready, let's go. We're offering you the blueprint for mastery, whether it's your love life, your financial life, your health. It's all based on a certain way of thinking.
Doc,
so we're going to help put
I'm gonna use the
in
bathroom, and I'm gonna put you on the screen by yourself. I'm gonna go take a.
Go ahead.
We're gonna still be here. We got a lot more time to be here, and then I'm gonna
questions,
phone lines too.
Okay,
and maybe get some people to call. And if y'all find any value in the show tonight, learning anything, support the show down there. You see the little scrolling. I'm just trying to get them support. But anyway, I'll be right back. You got the floor, and then if you need to take a break, then I'll take over.
This is last call for alcohol. This is it.
Shit. All right. Well, we got time. Well, I mean, I don't have nothing after this, and you don't either. So we gonna talk for a while.
I might have something after this. You can't make no decision for me now.
Okay. All right.
I'm joking.
That's okay though. Let me change it. I'm assuming that since we're already in alignment with energy, that we have already got an appointment of destiny.
Yes.
To be here another hour or so together.
Yes.
How's that? That's better?
Thank you.
That's okay. Beautiful. All right. I'll be right back.
So one of the things that we're going to be teaching in this workshop is how to develop a whole brain state. A whole brain state is when your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are locked together and your imagination is crystallized so that you will reach your destination with as little resistance as possible. It's called a whole brain state. That's when both sides of your head, the logical side and the intuitive side, work together in balance. It's creating a homeostasis brainwave where now you're able to move through resistance and change your world. We're going to teach a type of neuro-linguistic programming that's different than what you've heard about. Your language can be your lockdown or your liberator. So we're going to teach this special language, the language of empowerment, because we've been speaking the language of disempowerment for so long. If you listen to most people, they talk about the problem. The problem becomes 80% of the story. What had happened? What they keep going to the past. You can't fix the past. And they've been told that history repeats itself when history never actually has ever repeated itself. No two things in nature are exactly the same. Everything is different. Who told you that? That your past is going to sneak up. So that becomes like a mental parasite eating you alive in the moment, because the past is like a hungry ghost. It should be dead, but it's alive in your own mindset because you keep speaking over it. You keep spelling it. You keep giving it power. You keep creating it with your words. So we're going to teach this special language of how to create your language syntax where you become empowered by your words. Your words are very powerful. They do materialize in the quantum realm. We're going to teach people how to use their eyes as spiritual technology. When you're talking to people, right, depending on who you're talking to, there's a certain eye you should focus on. And when your eyes are moving to the left, that means something. When your person's eyes are moving to the right, it all means something in your subconscious mind. When you can control your eye movements and learn to say certain things without blinking. Because if I said right now, oh, you're a very wealthy person, and you start blinking, what you're doing is changing the channel, and you're saying, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. You don't even know you're doing it. You're doing it subconsciously or unconsciously. But there's a way where you can control your eye movements to reach your destination. I learned this in drumming. I learned how to do this in drumming, where you've got to focus your eyes in a certain position to play a certain rhythm a certain amount of times. I'm going to teach the eye movement that moves you towards your goal in this class on Sunday. We're going to teach you personal kinesiology. Kinesiology is how you get a yes or a no from anything. A yes or a no about anything that you have a question about, because it's already written into the biosphere. It's already in the energetic field. It's in the universal field. When you use this kinesiology, this muscle testing, it's going to give you a yes or a no about almost anything. Like I had to do a yes or a no whether I was going to do this show. I use kinesiology, which is, that's the one thing that I went and actually took courses for. And, this kinesiology really works. They use it in science, and you can even use what they call a pendulum, right? To get a yes or a no, if you know how to use it correctly. There's things that they're using in science. I learned how to use the pendulum in the laboratory at UCLA. The scientists taught me this. This wasn't some voodoo, hoodoo, woo people. Wasn't no spiritual people. These people were doing science. They said, look, there's a positive spin. There's a negative spin, depending on which hemisphere you're in. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I used to use that. I used to do exotic birds. I don't mean to cut you short, but I'd be cutting you short. I'm sorry. But I used to do exotic birds. I used to sell them. And we'd have to do DNA tests. But then I had this lady, I went to her house and she sat me down and she says, she gave me like a little pendulum item. And then what you do is you just take the bird and you just place this thing over its head. In the energy of the bird, if it starts going left, right, you would know if it's a male. And if it starts circling, and it'll just speed up, it's a female. I'm like, and it was 100% accurate.
Every time.
Sending off of DNA, and we only would do the DNA like if somebody need the record to purchase the bird. But yeah, if I was putting up my breeding pair, I would just stick it there, and it would just hang over, and then all of a sudden it'll just start going. And you just not do anything, or it'll just start circling. You'll know if it's a male or female just from the energy.
And the midwives and the old women used to do this when a woman was pregnant. They could take a needle with a thread and hold it over the wrist of the woman. And you could know whether the baby was going to be a male or a female based on the energetic spin of that pendulum, which was a needle in that case.
Yep.
You see, so I'm going to teach some of those techniques. And there's another one, which is muscle testing. where it's like the lie detector test. This is what they're reading: muscle tension, heart rate, all of those things to tell if a person is telling the truth or not. But you could use this right now in your life. This is one of the things I did when I was doing my, when I was seeing clients with the subconscious alignment. We had to know which statements was the best for that person. A lot of people, they have a statement that they was like, I want to be rich. And you would test them and it says, no, 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 no. Then you might use the word and change it to wealthy. And all of a sudden it begins to spin because your words are coded for you. It is an encoding process that's different for everyone. No one is the same. No two people know what a strawberry tastes like. We all agree that this green is green and that what's white, but it doesn't look the same to everybody. So there's a way to see what is unique for you, because when you were raised, you were told we're Democrats or we're Republicans and we're black, we're white. We agree with this. This is what we do. See, all of that was not unique for you. This was part of the breaking process. This was the buck breaking process to get you to become a slave, to get you to go along with the rest of the people so you would seem normal. So you wouldn't, the family didn't want to be embarrassed by you doing some levitation in the living room. Don't you do that. When the company comes, don't you do that levitation. Why? Because they're scared, because the church has got them scared. Another thing that we're going to teach is about the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is a part of your brain. It's about this big and it's about the size of your finger. And it has these pieces, these nodes that go all through your brain. The reticular activating system is a filter. It moves you towards the thing that you desire or you think about the most. It's called the reticular. Look it up. Reticular activating system, or the RAS. When you think about a new car and you want a blue car that's kind of rare, all of a sudden, don't you notice you start seeing it everywhere?
Yep.
When you start thinking about something a lot, you attract it. Whatever you're fascinated with, you attract. Some people are fascinated with anger and fear and disagreeable stuff. They're fascinated with. They're fastened. They're tied to it. So your reticular activating system tells your brain, to tell your neurons, to tell your nerves, to tell your hormones and all the parts of your system to move you towards the thing you desire, because you're the captain. And it's like you're on the speaker saying, now hear this, now hear this. This is your captain speaking. Each time you think, each time you move, each thing you do, you're giving commands of your craft, your ship. You are the unidentified flying object because you have not identified yourself fully. You've given up your ID. You've lost your ID. Somebody gave you a new ID and you think that that's you, and that's not even your idea of you being yourself. So you're like lost in space.
Yep.
You remember Lost in Space, man?
Yeah,
I don't know why I kept watching it, because you know they're going to be lost at the end of the show. Every show at the end, they was lost.
Well, we watched the Titanic. We knew that bad boy was going to sink.
You knew it was going to sink.
We watched the Wheezy and Louise, not Louise, but what was the one? Florence and all that. What was the name of that show? Good Times.
Good Times.
We knew they were going to never be rich. But we
Gilligan's Island. You knew they weren't going. They were so crazy they got off the island one time
and went back
and decided to go back out there for another tour, and the boat got lost again. You see, this is like, it's a loop. We've become loopy. The music is a loop. We don't even listen to songs. I shouldn't cancel, cut, delete, and clear. The mainstream only listens to songs that are loops. They're like intros. They never change. It's the same beat over and over. They don't have any crescendo, no bridge. It's just the same thing over and over and over. And we're like, oh man, that's dope, man. And people are chanting something and you don't really know what it's about. It's about mind control. Because if you have a song that has changes and it modulates, that changes you internally. So if you go back to the 70s and listen to the music of the 70s, it's changing your DNA. So I do a lot of time traveling to the 70s just by listening to music, because that music is alive. Now, I'm not saying that the music of today isn't doing this, but it's not doing it in the mainstream. You got to go to the underground, or you got to listen to some country music, or you got to listen to some pop music. They making changes. The pop artists, they done took the old soul music and took it a whole nother level, and you left it. So now you just, you're doing what you're doing because that's what everybody's doing. My point is, your reticular activating system is moving you towards your destiny. Your destiny may be heaven or hell. You must choose. So I'm going to teach you a technique to get control of your reticular activating system right now. So you can learn how to become a shapeshifter and shapeshift matter and change the matter and take everything that is not love and turn it into love, to become in harmony with yourself and become the captain of your craft. So no longer are you living your life as an unidentified floating object. Now you can fly and be identified and take back your ID and become a part of the God power that you really are.
Damn, I'm gonna vote you for president.
First thing I'm doing is making everything legal. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, if I was president, I will probably run on the fact that I will. Okay, think about it. This is just mine, and then we'll get into some call-in stuff. But every license in the world that we have has an expiration date. You know that, right?
Yes.
Except for the marriage license. Now, could you imagine if I lobby to make marriage license on a 3-year renewal, and you are in a relationship, you say, look, baby, I'm just not going to renew this shit this year with you. You know, or she says, it has an expiration. When people act different, it's the only license in the world without an expiration. I think if we did that, we will get a lot of different perspective now. What do you think?
Well, I was ordained as a minister, and they told me I could marry people.
Okay.
And I decided I wasn't marrying anybody because it's a lie.
Okay.
People lie.
All right.
They say whatever they got to say to get connected up, to get whatever they need to get business-wise, because, marriage is a business. You know what I'm saying? To be able to get into bed, whatever it is. They want certain things, and they lie.
Yeah.
Will you take Jonathan Jenkins to be your lawfully wedded husband until death does you part, through sicknesses and health, until you get sick? And all of a sudden your Willie ain't Willieing no more. All of a sudden now you want a divorce. Well, they didn't say nothing about his Willie. He's not Willieing anymore. So he has no will.
I had the same, not the Willie part, but when I got sick, I had a young, beautiful wife, and she was like, exit strategy fast, right?
Yeah.
But just to say that a little bit, we did shift just a little bit, but even now we're talking about sex, right? I've had people come, and we still have it, no sex before marriage and all of that. And I'll be like, you know what? That is a terrible price to pay to have to marry you to have sex with you. The devil is a lie. I mean, today, I know I'm going to get canceled for that. But the whole point, it's just so much of the lie, right? You're like, come on, are you serious? But that's the way it's all set up. And it is conditional. All that stuff is conditional. And if you would think that someone would stand in front of somebody before those vows and said, but instead of everything else, but if you do this, but if you do that, or but if this, it won't be a lot of marriages. It just won't happen.
And a lot of times they're not vows, they're bows. You're bent over because you're scared and you're inferior because you feel you have to do this. And a lot of people are not truly married.
No,
they're not truly in love. They're in like a lot. And check it out.
They just the window.
I found out I used to do a lot of sessions with people in couples. And we realized when we did the subconscious alignment work that they were married consciously, but they were never married subconsciously. The subconscious, there's a way to do a subconscious marriage where not only are you, because you don't even know your subconscious, it's unconscious, it's uncovered. But 90% of your life is subconscious. It's automatic programs. It's below your thinking. You don't know that exists. So you don't know that you got an issue from grandpa and great grandpa and grandma in ways that you got a little tick every once in a while that you don't realize you have until it's June 14th. And all of a sudden you have this tick just like your great auntie had. You know what I'm saying? Or you have these things that pop up. So what I'm saying is a lot of people haven't been married, or even in relating, they haven't been related. They're not relating on a subconscious level. It's only conscious level. And that's cool during the honeymoon period. But after a certain while, the honeymoon wears off. And the moon ain't so much honey. Now it's a salty sun. You know what I'm saying? And now we argue and we're fighting. And here's another thing. If you were to get married, I suggest, or if you are married and you truly say that we are truly lovers, you should revisit it every year. Go to the week that you actually connected, and renew your vows every single year. Every time the sun goes around.
Why I said it needed the marriage license need to be renewed.
A renewal date. I agree.
It has to. That was,
see,
you know, people think I was crazy with that, but I'm saying no, because it makes sense. Because the cleaving process doesn't happen in a 30-minute ceremony. That just doesn't happen, and it take you to go through some stuff to figure out some stuff with who you with and all of this stuff. And it's so many people take the easy way out. And of course, we know the whole term of, you know, inconsolable differences. You know, now you can just put that on a divorce. It can mean anything. Hell, I didn't like the way he snored, you know, or you know what I'm saying? And it's just no skin. And if it's going to happen that way, that's fine. But I think, like you said, if enough people go through, but we're seeing, and here's my question with that too, but you've seen people that go through hell of trials in life where you see them driving down the street in a pickup, big old bench seat, but they under each other because they know they ain't got nothing but each other. Those work out.
You see, there's people who are
there's
people who are truly connected through love. They're really connected. They can't be broken. They're evenly yoked. There's people who are like that.
Right.
But what you're seeing in the mainstream is the opposite of that. They keep telling you over and over how hard it is, and they keep showing you divorce and talking about it. And people it's okay to treat each other so badly. It becomes the mainstream. The main thing is that there's some spiritual things that need to be done in all of us to become evenly yoked and married to yourself first.
Yep.
You ain't got yourself together. You're not looking at this other person to complete you. So you're into a 50-50 love. What the heck is a 50-50? You only got 50%. I got 50%. What about the other 50%? The other part is the plan to get up out of here. 50% of your bags is packed. You waiting for something to be funny. You had a nightmare. The lady told me she left her husband because he had a nightmare that he was having sex with this woman, and he had a wet dream. And she was done because he cheated in his sleep.
She should have jumped in there and said, I got this, instead of dream. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm telling you is, folks,
ass up and said, I'm waking you up because I got this. I know you dreaming and I know it's working for you, but I got this in reality for you.
What I'm going to teach you in God power is how to jump in that dream.
Hey, woo, don't tell
I'm
him that.
I'm going to show you in God power how to do the spiritual work.
See?
To jump in. He's having a dream.
Get in there with him.
He about to gesticulate without me.
Get in there with him.
That word up, gesticulate. He about to gesticulate and activate. Let me jump in there. And you go into a certain mode and boom, you're in the dream. We are going to give you spiritual techniques.
Fans might wake up screaming like, how do you get here?
What I'm telling you is you could do all of this if you didn't have the limitation of the mindset prison and the wardens that controlled you and the farmers that controlled you. And look, you go to the grocery store, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a spell. When you say, I'm about to go to the grocery store. There's nothing growing at that store.
Okay.
You've made an agreement that there's no farm there. There's nothing alive. But you call it the grocery store. You go to the pharmacy, and then you don't see no farm, and they got a whole row of makeup, and another whole row of candy, and a whole nother row of cleaners that could kill a dog. And it's like this is all in the pharmacy.
And don't stop about the television. Got that from you. Come on. Now.
The point is that we've made agreements and allowed ourselves to be lied to and become liars.
Mm-hmm.
We've become victims. We did it. We allowed it. You don't have to do it, because some people, they're not just woke. They're wide awake, and they've been awake, and they're going to stay awake. There's some folks you don't know about them because they're not on the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
They're not trying to tell you what they're doing. There's people living right now. There's people doing very, very, very well. There's people who have changed and shifted their body from a cancer state to a beautiful, healthy state. You think they're going to tell everybody? Because somebody going to tell the doctor. The doctor going to call the FDA and the CIA and the DEA and who else? The AMA. They're coming to get you.
Yeah.
You mean you cured yourself? Okay. You know what happens if they cure cancer?
Yeah.
You know how many people's jobs? Look up iatrogenesis. Iatrogenesis. Doctor or disease cause illness. You was well till you went down there asking them to check out. You feel good, right? You feel good. Who's that? Tony. You feel good. And then you go to the doctor and he tell you, well, you know, we found something.
From the inside, we found
test.
I know you feel
to
good
come
on the
back.
outside.
They don't even tell you what it is. We need you to come back. We need to do some more testing. We found something. You get in this spell. Oh my God. Oh Lord have mercy. It's probably the EB-jibbies. I heard about the EB-jibbies going around. I probably got you put yourself in a spell.
Well, there's some
Then
stuff
you come back. They always got weeks. They want you to go home in suffering more than 2 weeks because there's a whole thing with the code of sevens.
Mm.
You come back in 14 days. And they say, yes, we found that you have you don't even know what that is.
Yeah, they
Oh
give
my
it a
God.
long name.
Oh my God. We've got this one medicine we're going to give you. You're going to be taking it for the rest of your life. Oh, and by the way, because of the other effects that they call side effects, they just need to call them the effects. We've got to give you 14 other medicines to counteract the actions of all these different medicines.
Yeah.
They didn't tell you to take your shoes off and walk on the ground naked. They didn't tell you to go get some roses off the rose bush and drink the tea of roses every day. They didn't tell you to go to the herbalist. They didn't tell you to put your hands in the soil. They didn't tell you to go sit outside and let the sun get naked in the sun. They didn't tell you to lay outside under the moon right now when Sirius is in the sky and let the sun's vibration or the stars shine upon you.
Yeah.
They put you in fear mode. And you become inferior, and now you have an inferiority complex. You are so far and polar opposite from your God power. What I'm saying is the spell is easy to break once you begin to really look at it.
Right.
You can't just be woke.
Yeah, you got to be
claim you woke and wearing woke clothing. You got a woke piece of sage you burning.
Yeah.
You see, it's more than that. You've got to be wide awake. You've got to become the captain of your vessel. You've got to choose which craft are you using?
Yep, to get where you want.
You have to be the witch. You have to do the magic. You have to become a sorcerer. You're going to have to take the source energy that's already in you and bring it to the surface. How do you do it? Well, we're going to give you the blueprint. Don't say it wasn't offered to you, because we have to do it now. We have to do it. Otherwise, let people don't try to tell people what Dr. B said. Let people be who they are. Now, some of y'all say, well, can we all work together? Can we do a watch party for the Blueprint for God Power? If you'd like, get a bunch of people together.
Well, then we should.
But I want to say something. I need to say something real quick.
Yeah, because I want to open up the call out line.
I do, but I need to say something I think is extremely important.
I want you to say it, because if you don't say it, you're going to say it anyway, but I want you to say it. You know what I'm saying?
I would like to thank you, Roderick Martin.
Okay.
For having me on, for knowing you. I would like to thank you for the shift that I see you making.
Appreciate it.
I'd like to thank you for the people that you are guiding, because you're doing a very good thing here for the people with this particular doorway, this window. You know what I'm saying? High strangeness, right? You're helping people see things that they didn't understand. There's a lot of people that have had visions and seen things, and you're helping to pull people together where they can all collectively, especially people of the darker persuasions, talk about their experiences, because that's not out in the mainstream.
Nope.
We've had experiences forever.
Yep.
So it's beautiful what you do, and I just like to thank you. I see the changes in you. I see your skin. Your skin looks wonderful, bro. Your skin is glowing. You're on another level. I am here to help you if I can in any kind of way, and I'd like to help you help yourself so you can help more people.
Well, I put that up right there. So people, pretty soon, starting tomorrow evening, it's not on yet. You got any high strangeness you want to do, there's a number. not tonight. Don't call it now, whatever, because it is not working. I will activate it tomorrow evening. You can call in, tell us your high strangeness, and then we're going to bring you up to talk about it, because a lot of people need some help. I opened up that 800 thing last month and got 50, 70 calls, and I thought it was just going to be UFOs. It's some people dealing with some stuff, seeing some things. There are some gifted people that have gifts that they're being denied because people around them think they're crazy, and they're not crazy, you know, and it's a lot of things there, and I think it's there. So before we move to figure out how to have some people to call in, I just want to make a disclaimer. I know y'all heard us talking about marriage, but let me just say this. I think, in my opinion, marriage is like medicine. It tastes bad, but it's good for you. Okay. So
That's just a perspective. Some people are having a wonderful.
you can get some fruity. You can get some fruity flavored medicine that tastes
We
great.
have to be open and willing to allow ourselves to first love ourselves.
Love yourself.
And
You got to be single
first. Stop looking outside of yourself.
Absolutely.
You got to develop yourself, and then you attract a certain kind of people. But a lot of times I tell people, I said, well, you know, when you got married, did y'all do a parasite cleanse? What do you mean, Dr. B? Did you do my total body program, my elevated total body program at elevationtime.com? Because once you detoxify at that level, I'm not just talking about a colon cleanse.
Yeah.
They got a whole lot of stuff people trying to push on you right now. What I'm saying is when you get to these, what they call systemic parasites, and you clean your body up from the rooter to the tutor, everything changes. Now your perspective changes.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you can truly love. And I tell people who are in relating, who are going to do the, you know, my elevated total body program, right? And this is the best time to do it during the change of the season.
And the link is in the description to elevated time.
Elevation
Elevationtime.com.
Elevation time.
If y'all on your phone, you can go ahead and click while we're talking. It'll open up another window. You can still listen to us and order what you need now.
If you're in a relationship and you're being intimate with whoever, if you do not allow that other person doesn't do the cleanse, then you need to shut down the oven, shut down the kitchen. Do not be intimate, because the parasites are going to run to the other person. And they're going to cross-contaminate. So I tell people in relating, you know, you both, or some people got whole families, a whole, you know, extended families now. Everybody need to be doing the cleanse and detoxifying right now. Just not your mind, but your body. And it's not just about cleaning those parasites out the colon. My program does that too, but its main thing is systemic parasites, the ones in the heart, the ones in the eyes, the ones in the thymus gland, the pituitary gland, the ones in your mind, in the amygdala. Please look up toxoplasma. And you tell me you find a program out there that is able to reduce the energy of toxoplasma on your brain. There's nobody out there who even looked at this, because most people didn't even know about it till I brought it up.
Yep.
But there's a whole book. There's a whole book about it. Where's my book? There's a whole book. Oh yeah, here we go. I got to show the book real quick.
Tell me, I got to let you talk.
Your brain this is your brain on parasites. Read this book.
That's a darn good book.
This is the book, and it talks about the brain's, the mind controlling parasites. That, you know, and if you took something that was good for your colon, this is at the other side of your body. How are you going to get those herbs to your brain? Because the average herbs cannot touch your brain because of the blood-brain barrier. So what we had to do was use certain flower essences, flower essential oils, and we had to use energetic medicine, energy medicine, sounds, frequency. That's why I showed you the light, because we're putting the light on the herbs, which increases the life force of the products. So at elevationtime.com, everything that we have is for energy, not just for your physical body, but for your energetic body. And I'd like to thank those of you who have gone over there. In fact, let me just say this real quick. A lot of folks gave us donations tonight at elevationtime.com. Yes, there is an Elevation Time donation button. Thank you for donating. And when you actually, you know, invest at Elevation Time, we're a foundation. So we are here to help people. We're teaching people how to help themselves. So thank you very much for everything. And thank you, Brother Roderick, for what you are doing, and Brother Billy and the Forbidden Knowledge family for the platform that they're creating. And I'm really excited about the Blueprint for God Power 2 happening this Sunday with Billy Carson. We are going, I didn't even talk about what Billy's going to talk about.
And you going to be there, and you're going to, but here's what I want to do. Can we open up the phone line? You ready to take some calls?
Yes.
And because I just been getting hit. This lady says I gotta let you talk. Let Doc talk. I'm like, come on, man, we in this together. You know what I'm saying? Me and you. You know what I'm saying? We yin and yang. You know, or no, we the same. We ain't no negative and positive. It's just me and you, my brother.
I think it's yang and yang.
Yang and yang. Okay, yeah.
Talk
So
about that later. We ain't yin and yang.
Yeah, we can get to that. So I'm trying to figure out how we'll do it because I can put the number on the screen and it's going to come to the cell phone, and then the cell phone is linked to the Roadcaster and we can hear it, and everybody's going to try to call at once.
You got that kind of technology?
Man, we doing this shit. We doing
You
it.
can connect to the Roadcaster with a phone?
With the phone and do a call-in show. Yeah. So the Roadcaster is right here. It has a phone module. And so I turn it up, and or see if I had a way they gave me a number, we can choose them and call out to them. But I'm just gonna put up my number, my Google Voice, and it'll come to the phone. And all right, so here's the rules. You're gonna have a question form, and then if we see we need to kind of hang it up, one question, give other people time to call in. I'll put the number up. Don't answer. Call. Don't answer or whatever. And we ain't plugging any businesses, because if you want to do that, you're welcome to sponsor the show. But if you got questions, and let's make some deep stuff, okay? If you heard us talk about some stuff tonight, that's fine. And definitely affirmations is great. Telling me he's doing a great job, because the dude is the bomb, okay? He is the sugar honey iced tea. And so, but I'm gonna open it up and let's see what we can do. And I'm gonna put a number on the screen. It's gonna come to the Google Voice, and then you're gonna hear him live, Doc. And then, like I said, we're gonna move him in and out. And so I want them to know, don't get upset. And if it hangs up, it's not him, it is me. And I'm just trying to control the flow. All right. At this point, bam. Whoever want to call right now, the lines are open to the Doc B and Rod show. We're gonna call this Doc Row, or Roderick something. We're gonna come up with a name though. We're gonna come up with a name, and we can do it. So it's on the screen. It's a little delay on their part. Somebody will see it right now. They should be seeing it right now. And so that phone, and I know they're trying to figure it out. What's team on the keyboard? That'll slow them up too.
That's old school, man. When you put the name there. People need to see the numbers now.
There we go. All right, we got our first one. Let's get it. Deep. Hang on. Boy, we got a bunch. Except they calling too.
All right. Do this. I got a Roadcast. I didn't know you could do this.
All right. Who are we talking with?
To accept one. To send a voicemail.
There we go. All right, you on the phone with Doc B. Who's talking? And Doc, let me know if you can hear them. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Wow, I can't believe I'm here. My name is Warrior. Okay. I've been watching you for a while, and
there's two of us here. So if you've been watching me or him, because I am cute. So which one? You've been watching both of us?
So years ago, I had a dream that I woke up in India. I know I had a cleansing dream, and I heard the word shaman in the air. I don't know if it's a person or whatever. I never knew this word. And then when I looked it up, it scared me. But at the same time, I looked into it further. Like, oh my gosh, I think this can be an initiation. So I don't know. I've been struggling because they say once you're caught, you fight it. I don't know. I'm new to all of this. And I've been watching all of you guys, from Rod to Doctor to you to I even got the book Pro tablets. I know I'm in the right direction, but I'm trying to go to get the foundation, start from somewhere.
All right, what question you got for the Doc? Go ahead, because you hear that noise. We probably got 100 calls. That noise we keep hearing is people keep calling and bing, bing. So what I might do is call some of the numbers back, because obviously it's not going to work there. But all right, thank you for calling. Tell us the question you got for Doc so he can answer it.
What do you do? Do you know anything about being called as a shaman and what to do at that point?
First of all, we have to identify what a shaman is, and shaman is a word that's used really loosely today. It's a very special thing that a lot of people are technically born into, and it's very, you are anointed. I'd like to say that, but you have an anointment vibration, which means that you've been touched. You have a gene pool that is very special, and that's why you've had this particular opening, this universal opening. You are the medicine person. It is already in you to do the healing. You don't have to go anywhere to do it. You're it wherever you are. It's time for you to realize and activate that and just be it and allow yourself to be your highest self. And you will now take on the medicine person vibration automatically.
Wow. All right. That is powerful. That help you out?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. I'll be calling your other for tomorrow too.
All right. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you, guys.
All right,
Thank
hang
you.
on.
Call on
Will now take on the
All right.
to accept.
All right. So you're on the show. You got to turn the background off a little bit, but you're heard live. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, this is Terry. Hey.
How you doing, Terry? You got to turn your background off. You don't want to be able to hear us at the same time that way.
Okay.
All right. What question you got for Doc? And let's go. Thank you for calling. And where are you from? Where are you calling from?
I'm from Louis, Missouri.
All right. Okay, go ahead. And Doc, we're gonna figure something else out. You hear that beeping? That's just people calling over and over, and I can't control that. So, but anyway, Terry, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, my question is, I would like to know, why do I keep seeing 1111 or 111, and I see other numbers with 11?
Your background,
You gotta
your
turn
computer
background.
is so
you can't hear
loud.
us at the same time. You got to turn that down.
Okay, you there?
All right, I'm gonna hang her up because she's not getting that. Okay. All right. So,
Call from
all right. So, who are we talking with?
to accept. Press
But wait, I wanted to answer a question. She can still hear.
Yeah, you can go ahead and answer it. She said why she keeps seeing 1111 and all of that, but I just need her to turn that background because it's going back and forth in our ears and all that. So, but go ahead and answer a question.
So a lot of times when you see certain numbers, based on who you are and where your culture has a lot to do with what you're seeing, or your messenger that your messengers that are giving you a message. And what I am reading from that is that you're the one. You're the oneness, and the oneness, everything is a part of this oneness. That is the God power. It's called the oneness, and it is the beginning and the end of everything, and it's in all of us. And you are being, alerted to look at yourself and take care, put yourself first. You are the one, and that is the alert code that you're receiving from the omniverse, the cosmic world.
You got a good one there. All right, we have someone else on the line. What's your name? Tell us where you're calling from.
Hey.
Say it again. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Go ahead. Tell us where you're calling from and your name.
My name is Najala, and I'm calling from Alabama.
From Dallas?
Alabama.
Alabama. All right. What question you got for the doc?
Okay, so I'm super excited at the opportunity to be on the God 2 on Saturday, but it's a
Sunday.
It's
Sunday.
Yeah, don't miss it. But you can't be there early like Apple and stand in line like people do for the iPhones, though. But you can at home. But go ahead.
I have somewhat of a travel conflict, but I do not want to miss. I was wanting to know if I go ahead for my attendance, will I still have access to it after?
You will have access from now on. You will also, as soon as you sign up, you will get the 7 sacred prayers, which is 7 people giving you prayers that you can use every day. And also you're going to get 9 songs. When the event happens, you're going to get an album. There's a soundtrack of 9 songs 3 produced by myself, 3 produced by Brother Rich, and 3 produced by Billy. These are all meditation music and music that takes you into other realms. You're going to receive a lot with this package. So it's not just the class itself. There's a soundtrack. And yes, you get all of that. But that is on Sunday. And once you sign up, you will be able to have access to it from now on. And the people that did God Power 1, which is still online at my website, elevationtime.com, and events, you can still get God Power 1. Once you get it, it's yours. You can always go back and watch it again and again in your own pace and in your own time.
I've been following you for a while on several outlets. I even heard you on a podcast with Michael Beckwith.
Oh, wow.
I'm already hit to your information, and I think you're awesome. So I wanted to make sure that I could be a part of it, even though I'll be there in real time.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're one of the originals. Thank you.
All right, then.
I am, of course.
All right. Okay. Thank you for calling. Rob. No, thank you for calling. Now, what I can do, Doc, is we probably got 60 calls. I'm looking right here on my Google Voice notice here. Some of them have left a message, and I got their numbers. It may be easier for me to call the last 4 digits, so they know I'm about to call.
Why the big secret?
All right, so let me answer this one first, then, since they're lucky. All right, so
Terry Hanks.
All right, so you're on the call. You said, what's your name again?
Terry Hanks.
Terry Hanks. Where are you calling from, Terry?
St. Louis, Missouri.
All right, what do you got for Doc?
Dr. D, Sirius, I wanted to know, why do I keep seeing 1111 or 111 and keep seeing
he answered your
different
question
numbers?
for you. That's why I answered it for you again, because I knew you got mad when I hung up, but he answered it. You didn't hear him tell you you're one, you're the number?
I was trying to get back in with the call, so I didn't hear it. I had to turn my volume all the way down.
That is true. So appreciate it. When I saw the number, I'm like, let me go ahead and re-answer this, because I can see it on the screen here. So go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, it's a delay. So
yeah, give it to her again right quick, Doc, because I didn't want to, because I heard her think I hung up on her a while ago. I heard her cursing at me. She didn't know I heard her though, but I did.
You are the one. You are the one. The one is the authority. That's the beginning. You're like the captain of the ship. You are the creator of your life. You, the beginning, you're being told that you are at the beginning and also the end. You're the Alpha and the Omega. You are fully in charge, and the angels or the ancestors or the cosmic realm is telling you that you're the one. You're not just the one, you're the double one and the triple one. You are the oneness. And whatever happened in your life may have got you to forget that. But the one, these numbers are attempting to wake people up. These things that you keep seeing, they call them angel numbers, they're codes, they're light codes. All of these things are attempting to wake you up. So you look at that number and look at the value of that number. Number 1 is the beginning. You're the captain. You are the God power. It is in you. It's just telling you to look at yourself, and you may need to attempt to not give so much away to others. Save yourself first and put the oxygen mask on others, but take care of yourself first. Put yourself first.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, Terry. I appreciate you calling back. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Man, I tell you what, that was all right. So we got some more. Let's see if we could somebody else got really genius. They was like, hey, we're gonna cash app you my number. Shoot, boy, that gets some priority there, baby. Hang on a second here. All right, so I'm gonna call out to some, or I can just open it back up. Either which way. How do you want to handle it, Doc? They calling, brother. They're calling for you.
Let's take a few more.
Okay, here we go.
Why the big secret?
Let's do it. All right. Here we go. All right, you are live on the show. What's your name and where you calling from? And turn down the backdrop for us, okay?
Okay. Baltimore, Maryland.
What's your name?
Tiffany Hackner.
All right. Yeah. Turn down your back audio for us.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. So state your name again and where you're calling from and what you got for Doc. Go ahead.
Tiffany Hackner. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
All right. What you got? What questions you have?
Okay. My question is, I believe in twin flames, and I didn't realize after the year 2020 when my dad passed away, and when it came, right, I'm married, and my twin flame is also married. So,
Wait, hold on for a second. You said you
like
believe in what? You said I believe in.
twin flame journey,
Say it again.
twin flame,
Twin flames. Okay.
twin flame.
Okay. Twin flame journey. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was like a feeling where, so I felt like it's something big in my life that is like missing. A big piece of my life is missing. So when my dad passed away in the year 2020, and the apartment I was living in, it was a deeper feeling. So I moved from that apartment a year ago, which is last year, and my daughter father that I'm married with right now, we got pregnant without sex out, and within 3 months, a miscarriage. So I took that as a great lesson to the fact that my husband was like very toxic, and to the fact that I was just trying my way to fix the marriage, or if I have to leave it. So after I made a decision to go ahead and just leave the marriage and let it go, I end up running into my twin flame. There's a thing that says that we let go of what have not been serving you, the greater is coming for you. Is coming. So right now I'm in a process of trying to get out of my marriage, and I'm in a low income situation. And I don't know if I have to pay my way to get out of this marriage, or will it be like the help that I've had a way to free myself out of this toxic relationship.
So your question is, give me the question one more time.
About how I'm able to, with me being low income, is there like a easier way to get out of this marriage? What do you think?
You mean without having to pay a lot of money
Because
to get out of it?
Right, because I literally jumped myself throughout the whole marriage, and I do appreciate what I went through with being in a marriage because of every pattern that I realized being in it with. So my trauma as childhood is emotionally abandoned. So I expressed myself when I was 9 years old for the first time, and I felt shut down. So I ended up with diabetes. So I'm having health condition, health problems, and health issues, but things are starting to get better ever since I stepped out of the. But the thing is like we have a child together, a 9-year-old, and he feels that we need to work on things just for the sake of our daughter, and I feel so that I shouldn't even go by because of our daughter, because I need to be here also so that my daughter can also still have a mother with the health condition that I'm dealing with. Like,
So
my thing is like,
so what's your question? So how he can help, so that you have a question.
I think I have it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Here's what you do. Are you able to crystallize in your mind what it is you desire in one sentence? Don't say it to me. What it is you desire. Once you have that in your mind, use your imagination to feel as if it has happened. Feel as if the desire is already happened. Imagine yourself thinking from the desired state, not of the desired state. Your everyday focus will be you dream timing to the desired state and being grateful in advance. What's going to happen is you're going to have, if you can do this every single day, even when things look rough, you focus on your desire. Only the desire that you would like to create for you and your children or your child. No matter what's happening around you, focus on feeling, not just seeing, feeling the desire as if it has already happened. It has to happen every day. And you will see a shift, and all of a sudden, something's going to change. Do that. That's the best thing I can tell you to create what they call a cosmic shift and to tap into the God power within you. Okay?
Yeah. And I believe you.
We need to hear from you in 2 months. 2 months, your whole life will change. Guaranteed. Do it every day.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling. All right, then.
Two more calls.
2 more. Okay. So y'all heard it. 2 more. Some of you got the number. Call back right now. And I'll just try to make sure I answer your calls and we can put y'all in here. All right, someone's calling now. You missed a call from such and such. Okay, here we go.
Why did
All right, let's do this. All right, so, all right, who are we? Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hi, it's Allison from Philadelphia.
Allison from Philadelphia. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. We talked about past life regression a couple of weeks ago, if you remember.
Hey, how can I forget? So you got the greatness of Doc here. What do you got for him? Because you're not calling to say nothing to me, but because he's the show, he's the headliner. I'm just the.
But I
opening
love
act.
You.
Whoa, you got my attention now. You got my attention now. Roof. All right, so you heard that, Doc. She loves me too. We sharing the stage on this one, my brother.
You got it, my brother.
All right then. All right, so
Doc makes me like my brother all the time. Oh my God.
well, I'm the opening act. He's the headliner. So go ahead. You got a question for him? Let's go.
I've talked to Doc a few times in the last couple of weeks. Actually, I don't know if he was recognizing my voice or the name, but when I was a little girl, I actually visited myself.
Now, how long ago was that?
Wormhole. I'm 55. It was quite some time ago.
It helps.
I was maybe about 8. I was maybe about 8. I used to have a heart murmur and didn't know what it was. And it used to like scare me at night. So I was trying to stay awake because besides the heart murmur, that darn Lord's Prayer that my mom used to make me say, if I die before I wake, I pray the Lord. So I stayed awake to make sure nobody tried to take me because I was going to fight them. So when this for me was like a giant circle opened up in my room, and I walked through it, and I knew the person looked familiar, but it was an adult me, like maybe a late teen, early 20s me, and it was a being behind me. Never came out of the shadow. May have had a hat. I think I saw a brim. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But I came to tell myself that I was okay, that I could go to sleep, that I wasn't going to die, and that I was safe and everything was going to be okay. Because I was also an emotionally abused little girl as well. So I just came to tell myself that I loved myself and to give myself a hug. But, at first I was afraid of myself, so I tried to fight myself. But I calmed down. The thing is, I totally forgot about it. Remembered it maybe when I was in my late 20s. And the way I looked then, I know how old I was, around the time how old I was. And I had passed that. So I don't remember doing this. I don't know if I actually did it, but I remember it as a child. So was that like me from another plane? Has it not happened yet? It's just a question I've always had. And I've never found an answer for it. I don't know if Doc can help or not, or what.
He got an answer. You see him working over there. He got an answer.
Question is,
I know I see him.
What the question is here? What answer would you like?
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's powerful. You better. We talked about this earlier. You don't want nothing negative. You claim it.
And
let's go, and then it's gonna be your reality.
I guess I want to know what me that was. Where did I come from? Was it a me from a different plane? Because you mentioned that our future selves are up there and the past self, and I'm trying to figure out, am I going to come from one of those ships? I don't know.
You.
And, your music takes me to a different plane and everything, so I'm just.
Oh, you have my music?
Sorry.
You have some of my medicine music?
Oh, yeah, honey.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
So this happens. What happens when you listen to my medicine music?
The first time I listened to your music, I actually put a comment on the site, but I think it's still pending. I went to a different plane immediately. It had been a long time since I astroplaned or anything. And it was almost black, but it was wet. And I was dancing. And if you remember, if I tell you this, you'll probably remember we talked about that I gave myself arthritis through a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I can't dance the way I used to. But in this plane, I was watching myself dance, and I was like, that's me. But what me is that? Where's that me coming from? And that's when I started remembering that I had visited myself, because I had forgotten again. And it looked just like her. And it was, every time I listen to it, I go somewhere else. Especially, I have my garden or forest from that meditation that you have on in your music, because I've got all of them. But I actually even saw Billy. It was something weird. He was playing basketball, and it was the oddest thing. Like, he had gone to a doctor, something about a knee or his back, and then he started playing basketball with like Steph Curry and some other giants in the basketball industry. And like a week later, he did a podcast.
And he slam dunked.
He wanted to do the basketball.
And he slam dunked on them too. All right. So here's what we're gonna do.
He did,
because we got a lot of other calls coming in. And
I'm sorry.
I know, and Billy manifests his own stuff. I would have assumed that he was on a rocket ship with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos instead of playing basketball. I can promise you that one. But all right, so we're gonna let some other callers come in, and let me let Doc answer you. So because we're gonna take one more after this, okay? And I appreciate you.
So what I'm gonna say is not just for you. It's for everyone. We are everywhere, all at once. We're in every dimension there is. It's just that one of you is conscious of this dimension here only, and you're magnetized to this place. And it's almost baffling to the mind how you could be a part of the multiverse. But actually, it's impossible for you not to be a part of the multiverse. We have agreed to be here, to be who you think you are now. But you're everywhere. You're in all the dimensions. If there's 11 dimensions, which the scientists had said there's 11 dimensions, they just agreed that there's 11 Earths and there's 11 U's. But we say there's 100. My teachers taught us that there was 141. And once you get to 141, there becomes 144 dimensions. And then there's 144,000 dimensions that are hyperdimensionally stacked upon that. We are everywhere. We're stardust. We're part of the mycelium network, which is everywhere. It's omnipotent, omnipresent, everywhere, all at once. So who was this that you're dreaming about? You. Most of it is happening in our own world. We're planets. We're spaceships. We're craft. And there's beings inside of you. You're talking about aliens in the sky and those big ships. There's so many alien beings or other beings living in your interverse. See, there's the universe, then there's the interverse. This thing is as above, so below. It's happening all everywhere, all at once. This is why it's important for us to get control and begin to use this God power. See, at a time when everybody is going through turmoil, who are running the world. The people that are running the world right now are scrambling. This thing is getting wild for them. They're concerned. They really don't have no time to watch you right now. They got their own issues because it's falling apart. You can't keep the sheep, right? After a while, the sheep begin to become wolves once they start waking up. So it's happening. All of it is real. Those dreams, those visions, those holes, those portals that are opening up are really happening in your mindset. If it's happening in your mind, it's happening in another dimension. We are multi-dimensional super beings that have agreed to have this physical this physical experience as what you call human beings. It's much more vast than that. We're everywhere. We're controlling this. We created this. It's like a video game to test ourselves. There is no life. There is no death. You can't create something that, you can't create energy and you can't destroy it. It is. We're in the business of isness. That's what God power is all about. So I suggest, if you are in doubt or if you would like the keys, then make sure you sign up for God power. And there's 2 links now. I want you to know that we may not even be using that Eventbrite link anymore. There's a new link. Go to my website, elevationtime.com, and you should see 2 links, and whichever one works for you. Or you can go to the events page and go down, and you'll see a link there, and try that link. But there's several links going around right now because a couple of them got corrupted, and there's an issue between Eventbrite and Apple. But what we're saying, what we're doing right now,
too. I put the link you sent me in the chat.
There's a window of opportunity opening, and they open at certain times. And there's a window that opens now. And if this window, right, there's another side to this that happens at 2027. Just like something happened that 1985, 1987, supernova 1987A, it opened up a window. The year 2021, a window opened up. 1996, a window opened up. There's a window open right now, a window of opportunity for us all. So we can begin to use these things, not just see numbers like 111 and just see it and say, wow, what was that? And you say, oh, you begin to say, oh, that was a message for me. I need to go look at 1. I need to be the 1. 2, 2, 2. Oh, that's about knowledge. 1 is about, you say you got knowledge, then you got wisdom. 2 is wisdom. You see, the numbers all have meaning, and they're symbols from you, to you, for you. And there's a lot of things that we think are happening to us are happening for us and from us. I know that's challenging for some of us to really grasp right now, but you're going to have to go in the blind right now, close your eyes, and realize that we're in a beautiful place. This is a beautiful time. Even though people are going through pain and heartache, people are going through illness, we're not saying that's not happening. We're saying that we have to get out of the place of staying in that place and holding on to those emotions that are disagreeable and begin to shift those emotions and become alchemists and turn those emotions that are disagreeable into agreeable. And there's ways to do it. There's spiritual work that we're going to be talking about. There's meditations, there's prayers, even the music. Like the sister says, she's, checked out the medicine music. So I have a whole medicine music project at elevationtime.com, which actually changes the substructure of your space because it's tuned to sacred frequencies like 432 and 528. There's all kinds of things. We're using light waves. We're using all this stuff to wake people up totally and not just be woke. And that time is now. The time is now to allow yourself to be your best self. Let's take one more call.
We will. And right after this, right here, and then we will take one more call.
Would you like a different destination? Are you ready to be the captain of the ship? We're going to challenge people.
So when you can combine spiritual concepts with financial literacy, then you really tap into your God power. And we are navigating through multiple matrices.
Once you do this workshop, it's going to take everything in your being to not become the person that you came to be.
All right, so we're going to take one more call, and we have Candace on the line. Candace, where are you calling from? And yeah, tell us where you're calling from first.
Hi, I am calling from Atlanta, Georgia,
Atlanta, Georgia.
and yes, Atlanta.
Okay.
So my question is, I've had this reoccurring dream where I'm fighting a male lion.
Ooh.
I've had it at least 3 times. I win every time, and I've been able to walk in and out of it. And so I was wondering what that may be alluding to, as well as is there anything to being born with a veil over your face?
The veil over the face is a rare event that happens when the child is born with the amniotic sac still over its face. That is a symbol of divinity. It's a symbol of a person who is tapped in to the divine realm. They're born with it. The divinity code, it's called the divinity code, the part of us deep within us that has this special divinely realized state of consciousness already built in. So that's that veil. Now, you're battling a lion. Are you there, sister? She's still there?
Yeah, she's here. She said,
Are you courageous? Question?
Selectively.
Right. Here we go. I'm going to lay it down really quickly for you. The lion is courage. That's the Lion of Judah. The lion has to do with your roar, your power. You are fighting your own power. You're not accepting it. You're not being it because some part of you has you feeling in fear and inferior, and it's become an inferiority complex when you actually are the lion. You are battling with the angel. You're battling with the higher self that's saying it's time to wake up and be courageous and take the reins. It's time for you to be the captain, the CEO. But first, you have to know what is the destination. And I tell people who are in business, because I work with people in business to help them increase their business and their flow and their finances. And we're actually going to be putting together workshops and classes for next year. So make sure you're at elevationtime.com on the email list. Get on the email list so you can be invited to these events that are going to be starting in the first part of the year. We're going to do some very different things. We help people choose their destiny. You've got to choose your destiny as your destination. You're from where you're going. So when you say that this is what I desire, we create a language that moves. It's like blowing the wind in your sails of your sailboat so that you move towards that destination. But first, you've got to choose the destination. You've got to have that crystallized. They call that the Christ consciousness, where you have crystallized your goal. And you're not going to let anybody or anything change that. And the first thing we do when we have a great goal, we tell people, that's the biggest problem you got. Because people are going to put their voodoo on it. They're going to put their hoodoo on it. And you'll never get to put your you-do on it. See, you got to put your you-do. I'm doing this no matter what. But when you tell people, they'll take the wind out of your sails. Well, that sounds good, but your Uncle Harry, he lost his shirt trying to do such and such. You need something to fall back on, because the minute you have something to fall back on, guess what? You fall back. The minute you have fear, you become inferior. You have to be courageous and don't ask other people about what you're doing. Don't ask their opinions, because their opinions are like anuses and colons, and most of them need a good colon cleanse. You have to not ask for other people's what? Opinions. Very important for you, because you're leaking. You're telling other people what you're about to do. You feel me? You looking for validation.
Yes.
This thing that you're doing, you're looking for validation outside of yourself. That means that partially you're an invalid. You feel you're an invalid. When you are valid, you was born valid, but you're fighting with the validation part of yourself that has validated you since the beginning, because you are the Lion of Judah. You are the strength. You are the power. You are the winner. And everything about you is trying to wake you up into that knowingness, beingness. So what you should do is first focus on what it is you desire, without anybody else's ideas, and not coming from the church, not coming from your friends, not coming from the liquor and the weed, not coming from anything you ever. What is it that you really would like to be doing? What would you really like to be? Choose that. Once you choose that, then you need to get your why together. Why would I like to be that? And for you, I would say to help others do the same, because you're one of those people that could be in chronic servitude syndrome. Chronic servitude syndrome is people that always helping everybody else. When it comes to them, they're not doing much. They're not really moving their ship. You have it. You are the lion. So you're going to now stop fighting with the lion. You got to say this before you go into dream time. Get your mind clear. When the lion comes, join with the lion. Mate with the lion. Make love with the lion. Make love out of the things that are not love. That's alchemy. Are you there, sister?
Oh yes, I am.
You hear what you hear what's coming through?
Oh yes.
Are you ready to do
Very
this?
good. Great.
Are you ready to
I
do
am,
this?
and I will be there Sunday.
Are you ready to do this?
Absolutely.
See the pause? I got a pause here. Is that because we got a delay on the phone? Are you ready, willing, and able to do this?
I'm not sure. Absolutely. I will be there Sunday.
Okay, I'll see you Sunday, and be ready to accept your stuff. And no more fighting with the lion. No more fighting with your courageous self. And stop telling people and leaking the energy. You conceal it within yourself. And this is for everyone listening. We've been talking too much. We've been told to leak all our information. Give it away. Tell everybody what do you think about what I'm about to do? Don't talk. Silence is golden. You know, loose lips sink ships. When you give other people your idea, they put their energy on it. They put their voodoo, their hoodoo, and they got a whole idea about what they think about what you're doing. And then people say, well, we're going to pray for you. You don't want nobody praying for you. You don't know what God they praying to. You don't know what kind of prayer they're doing. Most of the prayer people are doing is begging. And even most of the holy books said don't ever beg in a prayer. You got to be thankful in advance and act as if you already have it. If you're ready to do that, then you will move gently towards your goal. Row, row, row your boat, sister, gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Thank you very much. I'll see you Sunday.
Ooh, shit. Was that hot? Like hot off the mic and everything else. Man, we had hundreds of calls. I wish I had one of those phone systems. And then you can do some stuff. But, it was all manual. But, man, you went deep, brother, and everything else. So let me close some stuff out, you and I, with some of these people. Now, like y'all heard him say, go to elevationtime.com. There is a link in the description. Find your way. There is a link to Eventbrite, but if it don't work, but you may have an Android, you may be able to get that. Then there are some links in the chat that goes over to Forbidden Knowledge where you can get the God Power link for Sunday. And they just don't want to miss it. I think tonight there was a lot of people got a lot of stuff, and pretty much we had, about 600 and some people here. We still got about 500 plus sitting here. Also, let me put some on the screen for some of you real quickly while Doc is here, and we'll be ready to get out here in a minute. Well, I don't have it there, but anyway, if you, there you go. If you want to subscribe to High Strangeness or Roderick Martin, Why the Big Secret, it'll change over to High Strangeness Thursday. But go over in YouTube, look me up, subscribe to the channel. We're going to do a lot of stuff like what you're hearing tonight over there. We're going to cover a lot of high strangeness on the street as well. If you've had an experience of some high strangeness, there is our number, the 800 number. Let me turn off this little banner. It'll be up tomorrow, so you can start calling, leaving your information, high strangeness stuff. We'll call you back, talk to you, even maybe get you on a show to discuss it, because there's a lot of stuff people are going through. And although I'm a UFO investigator, as you know, and if you want to find any of the other stuff, you can go to any of these places. I'm on Gaia. I'm on the Discovery Plus channel, History Channel, Ancient Aliens, Course Forbidden Knowledge, Black Satellite, Fox Tubi. I'm in now some couple of new shows on Amazon. I was featured on Coast to Coast Radio. Definitely check all of those things out, and got some big projects and things coming up for you. Doc, what kind of last words do we want to leave some of these people? Because a lot of them have some personal life, and especially the lady just called, and when she said the lion and she kept eating them up, I was thinking of her as a queen lioness, and I was like, that lion could be that love something in life. The king that's coming in, but of course, you took it on a whole different spin. I'm like, don't eat him up, mate with him. I was thinking about mate with the lion, but anyway, that's just my vibration of all of that. But anyway, any last words?
The art of war is about not fighting. It's not about fighting. It's about converting the energy into something desirable.
Gotcha.
You sometimes need to talk to your enemy to find out what it wants. The enemy is usually something in you. The people who you think have an issue with you may not have an issue with you at all. And if they do, that's none of your business.
Right.
Why do you care what other people think about you?
Yeah.
Why do you care? They think it in their minds. And let me tell you another thing, brother. We're not good mind readers.
Right.
We're terrible mind readers. We don't have this telepathy thing down yet. It's coming. But we don't have it to the point where you know what somebody really thinks and feels. You're assuming. Get the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Get the book, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. When I met this man, I was like, whoa. His energy, his countenance was so smooth. And we just embraced, and we just had to look at each other. We didn't even say a lot. There's a picture of us together, I think, on IG.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Four Agreements. And number one is you be impeccable with your word. Don't assume anything.
Assumption is the mother of all F-ups. You better believe it.
Don't take anything personal, and always do your best. And your life will change when you have these new agreements. You already have everything with you within your container, your ship, your avatar. It's in your genes. We just got to put enough energy in the right direction, in the right place at the right time, so that we wake up and we begin to change things. And all of a sudden, we find out that the money came from somewhere. Business comes from, opportunities come from. There's somebody I know right now that just bought a house and didn't pay anything for it.
Ooh.
They got a house, a big house. They didn't pay anything for the house. They were at the right time at the right place, and they were the right person at the right time. Because they had been doing this thing for so long, this focusing, this work, this actually play, that they manifested something that they couldn't even believe. They cried and cried and cried. The deal was set up where there was financing and everything, but when it was done, the house didn't cost anything. Because it's already written that you are going to get what you focus on the most. If you're focusing on the disagreeable, your ship is moving towards the disagreeable. The wind that's blowing your vessel is blowing you towards the disagreeable. You are a spacecraft, and it's time to identify yourself. Instead of being an unidentified flying object, you must identify yourself and be that flying object, flying towards your destiny, flying towards your goal, and becoming goal-minded, gold-minded. There's a treasure map within us. It's called the blueprint for God power. My highest choice is that we choose gold. My highest choice is that we choose something new, because the stuff we used to use may not be working anymore. I don't care how positive you were and how many affirmations. Most people have reverse affirmations. I'm going to talk about that on Sunday too. The reverse affirmations that we don't even realize are working against our highest goal, because we were taught this language of speaking of the problem within the solution. You got to speak only of the solution. But first, you've got to be a solutionary and only talk about the problem 20% of the time. And 80% of the time is towards the solution, our goal. Let that be the wind that blows in our sails, that takes our boat from where we are to where we would like to go. It's wonderful being here. This has been a great time. And I'll see most of you on Sunday. Tell your friends that this is an opportunity, an investment into you, your life. You're going to receive the actual tools. It's not going to be just lecturing and talking. It's going to be, here, do this, do this, do this, say this. Because this is the time of actually obtaining everything we desired. But you have to realize that what you see is what you get. What you speak is what you create. Whatever you are fascinated with the most, you attract. So let's be attractive, because we're all attracting. And let's be magnetic and move towards our true desires. The question we started with was, which craft? Which craft would you like to be on? Which vehicle would you like to ride on? Which goal would you like to reach? Let's learn how to speak that into existence. Let's learn how to be magnetic and change matter and use our reticular activating system to attract our highest desires. It may not be easy, but it's simple if you do one thing after another. It's about the simplicity of doing one thing, focusing on that and not giving up. People give up. I tried 3 times, Brother Roderick, and it just didn't work. Well, on the 4th time was when you were going to win. Yep. You don't give up. You never give up focusing on your goal. No matter what your people, your friends, they say you're crazy, you're a lunatic. Yes, be a lunatic. Be outside during the moonlight doing the ritual. You understand what I'm saying? They say you're crazy. Yes, I'm crazy. I'm cracked away from the mainstream. I am an apostate. That's what it means, right? They say use a fool. Well, sometimes the fool is the number 1 card you need to play. Be the fool. Play the fool. Stop talking too much. Stop being disagreeable. Stop pointing the finger, because when you point the finger, 3 are pointing back at you. Stop speaking disagreeably about other things. Celebrate everybody's success, because your subconscious cannot perceive or conceive of anything outside of self. So whatever you're saying, your subconscious is hearing it and it thinks it's you. So choose your words wisely. Remember the 4 Agreements book, Don Miguel Ruiz, elevationtime.com. Sunday, this Sunday from 10 a.m. till 7. It's probably going to be about till 8, because I know Brother Billy Carson's going to drop some stuff he's got some surprises coming for you that if you're not there, you may not be aware of it and you just couldn't get it. But, and when you sign up, you can watch it whenever you'd like. But much love to you all. Much love to you, Brother Roderick, and whatever you've done to get to this place. Congratulations with all your success, all your shows. And I could see you changing, bro. I see your energy. I love it. Let's go, brother. Let's do what we got to do.
We're going to do it. You hang on. I'm going to close them out. Then you and I talk about everybody behind their back in great words, though, because we're going to let them know how great they were. But I will just say this real quick. When you said we're not mind readers, when I was married to the she-wolf, that's the ex-wife, and she used to always say, well, you gotta know me, you gotta understand. And I'm like, and one day we went to a restaurant and we was gonna have some steak, and I was floored when she sat there and told the waiter exactly how she wanted that steak. told him don't overcook it, this, and that. And I looked at her and said, why can't I get those type of instructions? But I got to read your mind. Of course, we divorced real quickly after that. But did I call it right though? Shouldn't I have gotten those instructions? We're not mind readers. Anyway, that's relationship, Doc. We'll get people to know. So anyway, as we come to a close, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with us as well. And, if you got some from this, share it with other people because it's all about love. And he spoke a lot of things about love tonight that you can take into your arsenal to help you with life, because it's definitely what it is about. It is love. And there's a lot of things happening within the universe. There's a lot of things happening within what's going on, especially in the UFO space, and or they come in and all of this ascension, and we are in a different time. And if you're feeling weird, it's not feeling weird. You're on your way home. You're connecting to what he's been talking about, our higher self. But in the meantime, trust your gut. Get that ticket to God Power 2 because you're thinking about it, and it will be worth it to you. And I promise you that, because what he's speaking on is things that I learned from this man personally and everything else. And so with that being said, it's been a fun, pleasing pleasure as well as a privilege. Good night to you all.
Thank you. Travel light.
Yes. All right, let me hang that up.